His name's Rhapsody. My name's Teak, and this is Rhaps and Teak Take a Peek. Back this week with Magic the Gathering Arena, a little indie title that came across my desk this week. Rhaps, how you doing, and are you familiar with the game?
Doing damn good and not at all. I've never heard of
Glad to hear it.
Seen it, never interacted with it whatsoever.
Yep.
Ignore the currency in the top right. This seems like it might be a... I don't know. I don't like to use this terminology, but I think it's a rip-off of Slay the Spire. I do think it is. I think because it includes cards.
It does. And it's clear you can even see that there are packs of cards here on the screen, which we've seen in Spire with friends. You know, when you can send your friend a pack. So, yeah, and I was looking into it briefly beforehand, as I like to do. You know, I like to read the Steam description. I like to get a little basic background. And I noticed, because I was like, okay, another deck builder roguelite. But I don't think that this is either a roguelite or traditionally even a deck builder.
What? No.
I know.
No.
That's right.
Games have to be a deck builder or a roguelike or both, Smile.
Listen, Smile. In this game, you build the deck first, and then you play it, which is kind of incredible because...
Void.
Well, no, but Vault of the Void, you know, as you're playing, you're getting more cards and you're changing your deck. No, it's more like, imagine if Vault of the Void was only gaining cards until the final fight, and then you just fielded your deck one time. It kind of feels almost like a bit of a reduction, in a way. A simplification of the mechanism. Instead of this iterative deck and fight, it's simply deck then fight. So you know, some fascinating... I'm not ready to call it an improvement on the genre, but at least modifications of expectation. We're experimenting on new soil here in Magic the Gathering Arena.
We love to see
experimentation
novel new concepts by indie companies. Oh, it's exactly what this series is about. I mean, come on.
It's really refreshing to us. Gonna do a draft today. Did you have some thoughts that you wanted to share about the draft, Rhaps?
Well, this in particular is going to be a bot draft. That means we are going to be drafting against AI, so there will be no waiting and no pick timers, which is going to be important for us as we are going to want to discuss the drafts. I will also mention at this point that if you, like us, are completely unfamiliar with this game, you should probably look for the time code in the description down below and jump past the draft to when we will actually be executing the deck. There are going to be a lot of mechanics and keywords and things like that that are going to be introduced, but we're going to be introducing them at
like any new card game.
Of course, naturally.
There's a lot of reading to be done first, and then
and we'll introduce those naturally as they are relevant in those battles. If afterwards you then want to see how that deck was formed, hop back to the draft afterwards. You'll know the kinds of mechanics that are going to be relevant at the time. But right now, in this specific instance, as we're going to be drafting into or jumping into the draft, we're going to be combated with a screen full of cards that have a lot of text on them, and it's just not going to be a user-friendly experience for us to explain each of the cards before we go.
Pretty dense.
So,
but brilliant. Come back afterwards. I think that's actually a really fun way to watch this, is to see the battles play out. And then it's almost like having a little bit of a teaser for then the draft once you've gotten a little bit of information. It might even be the ideal way to watch, but I'll let people choose, you know, follow it whatever way makes sense for you.
It may well be the ideal way, which means those of you who are familiar with Magic the Gathering, specifically Magic the Gathering Arena, and possibly entirely this set as well, the Forgotten Realms, as you watch the draft, you're going to be watching it all out of order. Oh, can't believe it.
No.
How'd you get in this game earlier than us? This is an early access game, I understand. It's open beta.
I suspect so. It must be. Yeah. You can tell from the way that the pixels are.
Otherwise, I would have heard of it as well.
Of course. Yeah.
Click this button.
Shall we? In we go. In we go.
Ooh, indeed.
Jump back to this other view. All right.
Let's jump to this view. Can you
pack one, pick one, baby?
Can you see the text?
It begins.
On these?
Truthfully, the small text is completely unreadable, but it always was going to be tough. But when you pop it open like that, now I can see it real clear.
Because we've got the legendary here, the Hand of Vecna. It's a legendary artifact. It's three colors. At the beginning of combat on your turn, equipped creature or a creature you control named Vecna gets +X/+X until the end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. You equip by paying 1 life for each card in your hand, and you also equip 2. So wait, actually, you can pay either of those costs as its equipped cost.
Interesting. This is curious because in draft, I don't expect by the time this is really kicking for us to have many cards in the hand. Like this is frequently going to be like +1/+1 or +2/+2.
Yeah.
If we had access to more card draw, It'd be wild.
Exactly. It feels like a constructed card that goes into a deck that
Yep.
is planning to be able to play Vecna, this
Blow up a
attached to
hand.
something as well, and then going
Yep.
for the face and stuff like that.
Yep. There's a... Okay.
Sorry?
Draw a... Whoa.
Draw a
Reach
card for
mana
each
value?
different mana value among non-land cards in your graveyard. We're looking for probably a relatively even curve. So this could easily be a late game bomb draw for us if we're willing to go a little into blue already.
It's not bad, even just if it only draws 2 or 3, it's still fine. It's never going to draw more than 5, but I like that. There's also some decent creatures here, by the way. There is a 1/4 with Vigilance and a tap target. It's the half-elf monk. It ain't bad.
So it's got Stunning Strike, 1 in colorless and 1 white, as well as tapping to tap target creature.
So you can either use this as pseudo removal for a target or actually block things, which is cute, at least. Oh, there's a dragon.
Also, it's got a decent stat line in 1/4 to be able to take equipment cards, and there are a lot of equipments in this this set.
Yo, green dragon. Look at this. This card is cute. 4 and 2 green, 6 CMC, flying dragon, poison breath. When green dragon enters the battlefield until end of turn, whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt damage, destroy it. So if we expected to do green red or pick up some of the things, surely there's something in this set that does damage. It doesn't have to be the green dragon that deals damage here, right? Or if we have any tokens like green white, I actually think that this might have some play in the set.
It could, and if nothing else, a 4/4 flyer is nice to have.
It's not awful. Yeah. The 2 green is not ideal like this early in a draft because it's, if you're going to play it, you're going to be in green probably. But yeah, I like the sudden insight. I like this. I like that basilisk, although I don't think that's pack 1, pick 1.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also looking at the basilisk and I'm like, man, I like it, but we can possibly let that one wheel.
Yeah.
The Intrepid Outlander is a 2 mana, 2/3. Love that. With reach and pack tactics. Whenever it attacks, if you attacked with creatures of a total of 6 or greater this combat, venture into the dungeon. One of the mechanics that we're going to be exploring through the course of this.
And now I can read it. I love it.
Venturing into the dungeon is going to be initially entering us into the dungeon for a small benefit. If we manage to venture enough times, we get a gigantic benefit at the end. Not going to go deeper or much deeper into it until it's relevant.
It's one of a few main mechanics, because what you explained to me is that this set is meant to not only kind of evoke, but even literally delve into some of the mechanics of a D&D module. And so it's got D&D style play, which you're allowed to do when you're Wizards of the Coast because you own it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's like really cool. It means the cards are all really long, but I love the theme.
It's remarkable that the same indie company owns Magic the Gathering as well as Dungeons and Dragons.
They've really made a name for themselves over the last, I'm sure, 2 to 3 decades.
Some period of time like that.
Some number of,
one of the mechanics that, or 2 of the mechanics in this in particular that are going to be relevant in this set as well. These being ones we should probably at the very least explain. This is a roll card. It asks you to roll a d20. It's a Dungeons and Dragons tie-in. And then also there are treasure tokens, which you have the ability to sacrifice in order to add 1 mana of any color. Look.
Something like this.
Baby, you got a d20. Do I have a d20 on my table?
I've got like a lot of dice at my desk, actually.
I don't
Weirdly.
have them at my desk, but we've got.
I've got too much. To be
entire
honest, if the camera showed my actual desk, I would be instantly fired, I'm sure. It's very messy right now. Yeah.
That's how I have 4 different mugs on this desk.
Yeah, and any of them could contain coffee at any moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
My goal is to drain all of them of coffee before they stain with the remainder of the coffee that I forgot. When you roll 1 or more dice, Brazen Dwarf deals 1 damage to each opponent. It's a 2-drop 1/3. We could
Remember, enemies have more heal than usual, so pingy red stuff is still probably good, but it's like the race to 20 is harder because the enemy may actually heal, for 4 or 5.
Yes.
But I don't mind this creature at all. By the way, I think Eye of the Beholder is a real pick. I would rather not. Removal. But like the fact that it's a minus can be a really big benefit because you're not triggering damage effects or anything like that. Yeah. But
Yo, that
I like
actually, that might be the pick.
it's like not a bad card and it's instant. Yeah.
It's like it feels like it's like a good bomb counter as well. What's
Mhm,
Clever Conjurer
mhm.
doing? Mage Hand, untap target permanent, not named Clever Conjurer. Activate only as a sorcery.
Mm.
Ooh.
Okay. I like Mage Hand
Uh-huh.
because it's also a 2/3. But I think my premier picks here are, if I had to narrow it down to 2,
Mm-hmm.
it would be Green Dragon or Eye of the Beholder. Barely
Really?
eking out over Sudden Insight. Yeah, I like the Sudden Insight a lot here too.
Wow. Because where I'm sitting, it's Clever Conjurer or Intrepid Outlander.
Intrepid Outlander.
And then Eyes of the
Wow.
Beholder is just outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what?
Intrepid Outlander
This
is
in
pretty
both
sweet.
of us. It is.
Okay, that's
'cause
true.
It's a 2/3 with 2 mana
Yeah.
for its summon, and it's
There's a
got
lot of
reach.
good stuff. I mean, there's no doubt. There's a bunch of good draft cards here. But
You know
look
what?
at that eye.
This is higher rarity. Why don't we take the
Okay.
Intrepid Outlander and then let the eyes cycle?
Okay.
It's possible, like, because either eyes or Underdark is probably going to come back to us.
And also, because we're 0% familiar with the set. Truly, actually, we're not familiar with the set.
Yes.
Green can be really nice because, and we still have many picks before we have any idea if we're even allowed to play green.
Yeah.
But green just has decent creatures, right? And so that can be a really nice thing to just say, okay, I know what I'm trying to get online a bit here, and I can support it with another color. What do you see? Your eyes went wide.
They did go
What are you
wide.
looking at?
Just a comment on that individually beforehand. They oftentimes have non-conditional good stats. Where, in other classes, similar things would have the conditions related to it. It's the druid class that I'm looking at here. Enchantment. 2 cost. Gain the next level as a sorcery to add to its ability. So when it initially comes in, it is a enchantment. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. We can pay
that's
3 to increase it to you may play an additional land on each of your turns. And then 4, when this class becomes level 3, target
5.
land you can... Sorry, 5, you're right. When the class becomes level 3, target land you control becomes a creature with haste, and this creature's power and toughness is equal to the number of lands you control. It's still a land. So this gives us the ability to ramp, but it also gives us the payoff from ramp.
Yeah. Although, this activation only gets to happen once. So you spend 5 to make a hasted creature, a tree ent creature, and then if the enemy removes it, it's gone and you can't do it again. So you do need other things to do with the mana, right? Like there's no takesies backsies on this, and you can't even bring it back from the graveyard because it was technically a land, just upgraded to be. But it is pretty sweet. My concern, I think that this pick, which we might be willing to do this. Okay, I like this card a lot. Like I'm diggity down to take this. When I take a card like this in draft, it basically says, I don't get to play open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to you specifically must look for things to take advantage of and activate this ramp, or this card is it's just like too much to deal with, right? Total cost 2 + 3 5 + 5 10 to get the land thing at the end. Like you must ramp lands.
Yeah.
You like to mana ramp, don't you?
I love mana.
You love to mana. I've got a video to send you. You got to remind me. I've got a video to send you. 10,000 mana. Don't let me forget.
Okay, outside of that, there are 3 things I want to pull immediate attention to here as well.
Okay.
Bar the Gate. It is an instant 3 cost counter target creature or planeswalker spell. So it's a little more limited.
Nice.
You're not going to be countering other instants and stuff, sorceries and stuff. But you also venture into the dungeon.
I like that.
Which has value and has more value as you get more venturing into the dungeon.
Oh wow! I didn't
Another
actually see the level 5. It's got some cool effects. It's got some good optionality later too, like just turning a creature off for a turn, making some tokens.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
Make some chump blockers while you extend.
Yeah.
I like it. Scrying the entire way through as well, giving you more control over your draws following. There's the Veteran Dungeoneer, which is just a 4 that drops for 3/4 and ventures into the dungeon. Has an ETB effect.
Runestone Caverns is kind of cool too, because draw is so limited in draft. you can kind of turn it into like it's kind of pseudo draw. It's not just thinning; it's pseudo draw. That's cool.
So is that going to be in a single step? Like, am I going to exile the top 2 cards of my library and then I may play them?
Yes.
But then after that step's completed, I don't get to do anything for the rest?
Absolutely, which means you would have to have mana open. That's my understanding of the effect. That would be what I would expect. But I've never played around dungeons, so.
Also true. Another thing that immediately comes to mind is the Portable Hole. An artifact only costs 1 white. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls with with mana cost 2 or less until Portable Hole leaves the battlefield. So just like a low target O-ring.
You know what's funny? Speaking of the druid class, here's a 1 cost answer. Its mana cost is 0.
we could destroy people's classes with this.
Yeah, we could.
I say destroy, exile.
I don't mind Portable Hole.
I don't mind it, but there's also a lot of artifact removal in this set.
Yeah, and we've already identified Bar the Gate, which is a more direct answer, and that can actually stop the later level bombs too, right? When they're dropping their 6 CMC dragon or whatever.
It's also a secret door, just a 1 mana drop in blue.
And I like stuff like that when it's going to go long. Although this is not a reach defender, which we might actually like struggle with in this set.
I'm glad we have at least 1 reach available so far.
Yeah.
Just in case enemies have like, 1.
We're not looking at. We should be looking closer at black though. Honestly, I'm surprised that I haven't
Skeletons
looked much.
looks nice, right? It's 4 for just a 4/3, and when it dies, you venture. And obviously, playing in black, you have the ability for it to die, come back, die, come back, die, come back.
Very likely, right? Very likely. Yeah.
Green-black is not a bad color combo.
It ain't bad. Okay.
I think those are all the things I would want to immediately pull attention to. Oh, sorry. The final thing is the combat trick in green here.
Oh,
it's
wow.
An instant combat trick for +2/+2.
Yo, and it's untapped? Okay, wow. It's got an untapped too. Man, this would see some serious play in some sets. Okay, I like although I like this kind of effect better in constructed, where you can turn it into like just disgusting value, you know. When you're top decking, you really don't want to see bull strength probably. But
unless you're looking to
it
close
can be
out
good.
The game, but like
Exactly. I think I like Portable Hole, I like Bar the Gate, and I like Clattering Skeletons quite a lot.
Let's do it.
Okay.
It clattered as it got into the deck as well.
Did it? Oh, that's really cute. Contact Other Plane. That's just a cool name.
It is indeed. What's it do though?
Roll a d20. It's an instant speed 4 CMC blue card. Roll a d20. Value 1 to 9, draw 2 cards. Value 10 to 19, scry 2, then draw 2 cards. Value 20, scry 3, then draw 3 cards. You know, it's pretty sweet.
It is. It really is. Like, divination costs 3 to draw 2. And that's like, kind of like a decent base here. This is instant speed, and it has the possibility of scrying beforehand. And it's worth noting, it also rolls a d20. And some of these other cards, as we've seen previously,
which might be the strength by itself. Yeah. Although there's your Gretchen Titchwillow if we want to go back to mana ramp city.
If we took Bar the Gate, there's a legitimate, okay, never mind. We are going to be drafting 42 cards, and we're only going to be playing 23 of them, so we can just leave the Clattering Skeletons to the side. But I would have been a little keener to think about this Gretchen Titchwillow
if you were already kind of blue-green.
Bar the Gate.
Yeah. For what it's worth, and I haven't said this, but I should. I am no expert at draft. As I've noted, I've never played this game before. But if I had any experience in draft, my preferred kind of general mechanism, and actually my recommendation for newer players too, is to not worry too much about colors until at least like your 5th, 6th, or 7th card. And to just generally try to pick strong things. Different people will draft different ways, and you might get a sign in your early packs that you need to commit hard, right? Like we said with the Druid class, it's like you're going to kind of need to commit to this bit. But I'm pretty happy to just take strong cards for 5 to 7 picks and then look and be like, okay, what does this tell us? Where can we go from here? And Gretchen Titchwillow is a strong card. It's just, I specifically think that this card really benefits from constructed. It's just, it's like you need to be blue-green. You need to have access to those colors early. You need to see Gretchen fairly early. And then you need to be able to benefit from this drawing card thing. So I like the card.
If we take Gretchen and then we never see, like blues or greens past this point that we're super keen on taking, it starts to feel really bad. I want to draw attention as well to one more card on this deck. Obviously, Contact Other Plane I feel is really good, and I feel like I'm probably going to want to click it here. But 1T Fangblade, 3 CMC, Death Touch. Whenever 1T Fangblade deals combat damage to a player, venture into the dungeon. So they're going to
That's pretty sweet.
It. They're gonna have to spend a card removal on this usually.
Yes.
So it 1-for-1s in worst case for 3 CMC.
Yeah, no matter what, you're basically forcing your opponent's hand. And we do already have a black card. I do like this a lot. And here's another consideration in that direction. So it's too early to have a feeling for where this table is going, but there are 3 white cards, 3 red cards, and 2 black cards in this deck. Notably absent blue cards. That might just be the pack. The pack just might not have had many blue cards. But it definitely looks like we can still take 1T. Yo, dude, I actually really like that card.
Let's do it.
I think that's pretty sweet.
I was waiting for your level of surety to raise just above the threshold that I could click.
I really like black, and I think that black tends to perform pretty well, just generally in draft. Okay, what do you see?
Well, if you really like black, why don't you tell us what Feign Death does and why it might matter?
Feign Death, 1 black CMC instant. Until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Hey, did we draft something like, I don't know, some kind of noisy boneman, some kind of ruckus among us situation?
Oh, sorry. I do think we drafted some cacophonous osso. What?
The Latin, it's on the way. Oscillo entities.
Oscillomorphs. These cacophonous oscillomorphs.
Dude, that's the name of my next indie band for sure. Or at least it's a Trops and Trops single. The cacophonous oscillomorphs.
Oh my god.
Oh man, I love those guys.
You're gonna have to offer me a feature on the track. I need to. It's a wordplay track through and through.
Of course. Dude, is that the second sudden insight? It's like,
the second sudden insight
dang
we've
it.
seen, yeah.
Were we supposed to be like blue draw in this draft? That's so unexpected. Yeah. Dude, I really like this Feign Death. It is pretty sweet. And I mean, even if we're not getting the ETB from Cacophonous Oscillomorphs, we got Yuan-Ti Fangblade. Yeah. This says bring back Yuan-Ti Fangblade and kill more stuff. It like turns it into more removal. And who's to say that we won't find a giant, end game, it would be like a lich or something, right? Like we'll find something sweet. Do you want to do it?
I do.
Is there something else here that catches your eye? I'm being pretty hasty, partly because I can't really see the cards much, but there is a 3 CMC green here, 4/5, lurking Roper.
Oh, it's horror.
It's funny.
Lurking Roper doesn't untap during your untap step. Whenever you gain life, you untap it. Anyway, there are other cards available in the pack. Thieves' Souls, what's this doing for us? When Thieves' Souls enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Equipped creature can't be blocked as long as its power is 3 or less. That on Yuan-Ti.
Wow, that's pretty sweet. And it's treasure token, so you got some mana fixing.
Exactly.
Oh, but we do have to equip it. So it's actually 5 CMC total for that first equip.
Yes.
Or 4. So it's no slouch. But being able to avoid block it's nice. I don't mind some equipment. Wow, you don't often see black artifact equipment. That's kind of sweet. Usually artifact equipment is actually colorless.
Exactly.
That's neat.
Red and white get a little bit of a splash there too as well. This could be 3 as well, right? Thieves' Souls generates the treasure token, tap the treasure token in response because it's not summoning sick.
Yeah.
And then just
I think that I wasn't thinking enough about this before, but the treasure token is a big deal in draft because we don't know how awkward our colors are going to be.
Yeah.
And so just having the mana fixing. It's not even just about the effect of the Thieves' Tool itself. It's that if you already have the black and you can do this, you'll get some effect out of it, and this can help fix for whatever other thing you want to do, right? I like this. I like Feign Death. I like them both.
Which of them do you think is more likely to wheel? Because I want to take the other one.
That's a good point.
We are drafting against bots as well, so it's entirely possible that this consideration is not relevant, but it is a relevant consideration.
I have no idea what they're going to wheel, right? Like, I would think that Feign Death would be taken more eagerly just because it's one and it's instant. I would think.
Let's click it.
Let's click it. Let's just do it. Skellies are back!
The Skellies are back!
There's also You Happen on a Glade. An instant green.
So 3CMC has choose one of two options. Journey On, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand and shuffle. And make camp. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Which
is kind of wild. That's very much a black effect, actually.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
There's these elves really out there spelunking in people's graves. It's cool. They're going to tell you that it was because they wanted to bring back the tree, but they're bringing back a dead adventurer.
Glade and Graves, like, they share enough letters in the same positions.
That's a good point.
That you just squint a little and look at the word, and it's basically the same. I can understand that.
Oh, you happen upon a grave.
I guess
it's elvish to me.
We came here to set up some hammocks in the glade, so we were going to rope the glade, but I guess we can rob the grave? It looks like it says on my to-do list here. All right, let's just go do it.
Close enough. Now, who's even really reviewing our performance on this? Yo, there's a Bag of Holding.
There is indeed. What's it do?
Whenever you discard, it's an artifact, one cost. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. 2 cost and tap, draw a card, then discard a card. 4 cost and tap. Sacrifice Bag of Holding, return all cards exiled with Bag of Holding to their owner's hand.
Really good if you have other sources of discard.
And or, like in draft, as long as you don't think that someone's going to remove this, it just lets you cycle your bodies.
But what if they do? Because it's a one-cost artifact. Like, it can get...
But here's what I'm thinking, right?
Huh?
You're not bringing them back anyway. So, like, if it pays off, you can call it draw 4, right? Because that's what it is. It's a draw effect.
Are you discarding?
So a creature dying is a discard as well, or does going to the graveyard not count as a discard in this game?
That's just going to the graveyard.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Never mind.
I could be wrong.
I see. So you specifically have to discard it yourself, which means you would really want to be playing this with like blue.
Yeah.
Okay. I having never played this game, I was unfamiliar with which 2 graveyard effects counted as a discard.
That's totally okay. I understand it. It's familiar with it myself as well. Inspiring Bard. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1 Bardic Inspiration. Target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of turn, or you gain 3 life.
Combat trick creature. Kind of funny.
Well, I mean, we're not going to be able to cast it at combat trick speed, though. We're not going to be able to do it instantly.
That's right. That's the problem. It's not Flash.
Honestly,
Dude, do you want to just take Clattering Skeletons?
Yeah, I think we spent a long time on realizing that the Clattering Skeletons...
Hey, but you know, it's fun to talk about this stuff. Yeah, that we're learning. Okay. Speaking of grave robbing...
There's a Horde Robber here. 2CMC, Black Tiefling Rogue. Whenever Horde Robber deals combat damage to a player, which is extremely unlikely to occur, but it is a 2-cost body for Black, create a treasure token.
And it wouldn't be unlikely if we happen to, as an example, wheel a particular piece of artifact equipment that allowed us to do something like that. Yeah. And with the amount of treasure tokens that we're seeing, I think we should be open to taking other colors. Like, it's clearly looking like we're going something like green-black, but there's a Rhyme Shield Frost Giants, which looks like just a big body that can't be countered.
Yeah, because it's got ward, so people would have to pay 3 more if they're going to try and counter it all, or become the target of a spell or ability.
Wait,
my concern
what's this Cursed Idol? Oh, go ahead.
My concern in that direction is it's got 2 blue that you need to pay for, so it'd have to be 2 treasures open and then...
Yeah, either that or be actually in blue. And whenever you see 2, it's like, oh, that's pretty hard in blue, right? You know, it's like...
My man, what does Cursed Idol do?
Choose 1, smash it, destroy a target artifact, Lift the curse, destroy target enchantment, or steal its eyes, create a treasure token, and venture into the dungeon. Yo, this is very high optionality.
It's so good.
I think we should take this, actually.
Yes.
I think that's pretty sweet. Like, I like the Horde Robber in theory, but it's getting too cute. What if 2 Cursed Idol? Okay, there's also some other stuff. Wait, what's this Cridle of Baldur's Gate? Baldur's Gate.
I know that he was providing a large amount of damage to my idol champions party. Just an idol.
Idol
game.
champions.
Yeah, exactly. It's D&D themed idol game. This is relatively good.
I wish that I had your capacity to find and invest in idle games, because genuinely I think it's a fun like lifestyle gaming decision. I just haven't done it
until you start planning your sleep schedule around it, and that is when you realize, uh-oh, I'm in too deep.
It's gone too far.
Whenever Cridle of Baldur's Gate deals combat damage to a player, that player loses 1 life and mills a card. Then you gain 1 life and scry 1. Whenever you attack, you may pay 2. If you do, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Right, so it's got the, obviously blue-black have unblockable as a little bit of a theme in there.
Yeah. I do see, though, why this uncommon is still in a pack this late. Yeah. It's kind of a lot. You know, it's like, you gotta do combat damage to a player with a 1/3. You're doing some mill stuff. You can like keep creatures from being blocked. None of these effects though are individually strong enough to justify the hard color fixing of blue-black on a creature body in a set that has so many mechanisms to deal with that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold.
Very much agreed on that side. I will
3 white still, by the way. People really not drafting white at this table.
Not much at all.
Or maybe just these cards are not very good.
Sacrifice artifacts, add 1 mana of any color, and it loses all other abilities. Right. So it drop that on an opponent and they get a treasure effectively.
Yeah. And you deny them their whatever.
Flash equipment, but you have to be able to pay for not the only equipment itself, but also whenever it enters your
the first one's free.
It's just the 2.
Yeah.
There's Veteran Dungeoneer, who's promising to go back into the dungeon again. Direwolf Prowler is 3 CMC for green, 2 for an ability. Direwolf Prowler gains 2/2 and gains haste until the end of the turn. Activate only once each turn. You can do it in instant speed for the effect there as well.
And effects like this are not horrible for draft, because not only can you use it to make it harder to block, but like you can just use this to push face if the game gets kind of stalled out. You know, it's not terrible. But do you want more idols?
Kind of. I mean, like, look, we are 6 cards in. We're going to be drafting 42 cards. We have time to find 2 costs to drop on the board and stuff like that. Maybe we do just take something that is like a very versatile premium removal option, especially considering we've seen a lot of enchantment and artifacts that we want to be able to get off the field.
Yes, very many. I do like that wolf, for what it's worth, like a lot. Ooh. Hey, there's a golem.
The Iron Golem. 4-cost artifact. Creature has vigilance. It attacks or blocks each combat if able. It's 5/3.
But that's kind of fine, right? It's a 4-cost 5/3. Like, if it just gets 1 removal, I mean, you don't play it if it's a horrible board state. I really don't mind this creature, especially because no matter where we end up in colors, like, we can put it in. But there's also a Sepulcher Ghost.
Sepulcher Ghoul.
Cool.
Like to tell us what to do.
Sacrifice another creature. Sepulcher Ghoul gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Activate only once each turn. Okay. So I was +2/+2 is less exciting to me. I was hoping that this was a board altering effect, but this is very fair.
Oh my god, Teak. I know we've constantly avoided taking any ramp. But Find the Path is 3 enchantment aura, enchants a land, gets that land to add 2 green. And it ventures into the battlefield. Ventures into the dungeon. We've got a little bit of a dungeon venturing theme already with the 2 clattering skeletons especially.
It does. And in particular, what I think Find the Path does is, I'm not even thinking about it as ramp, I'm thinking about it as fix, right? Like, you're in a position where you're like, man, we need a lot of green.
Oh my god, Teak. I haven't even shown you the rest of the dungeons. So the first dungeon's the Mad Mage. Goes all the way down to 3 cards, reveal them. You may cast one of them without paying its mana cost. The next dungeon... of a dungeon.
Oh.
If already in a dungeon, advance to the next room instead. We might be able to choose which of these dungeons we enter.
Yo,
as well.
I think so. I think you're right. I think we get to choose which dungeon we're doing. Man, we didn't know there were more dungeons.
Well, of course,
they're
we've never
very
played this game,
different.
though.
Yeah.
We've definitely never played this set, but we've also never played this game. One of those is true. The other one is trapped entry.
A statement
Each
that has
player
been made.
loses one life. I think we take
it.
Find the path.
Take it. It's fine. It's fine.
Clicky.
It's fine. Although we are looking
Sunset's
for creatures.
wheeling so hard.
I know.
There's
Why
the
is nobody
underdog
taking
that we
this
said was
card?
gonna wheel.
Are they scared of the 2 blue? Like, what are they afraid of?
It's
What
6
frightens you?
cost for a draw that's likely to be 3 to 4. But like, it feels like, you know, if you're getting to the top taking in the end game, take it. But I don't know. We're trying to justify the choosers of bots at this point.
Yeah. So we should take Underdark Basilisk. I agree.
100%.
Druid class is back. What's Spare Dagger? We haven't looked at this.
Spare Dagger. Artifact equipment costs 1. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has whenever this creature attacks, you may sacrifice the Spare Dagger. When you do, this creature deals 1 damage to any target.
You know, that's not a bad effect.
This creature deals 1 damage. This creature deals 1 damage to any target. So if we put that on 1T...
Yep.
Oh, no. Combat damage. 1T needs to deal
okay.
combat
No,
damage.
you're right. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's too
Basilisk,
cute.
This creature deals 1. The Death Touch is this creature. it gives Death Touch like a 2-cost kill to the Underdark Basilisk should it be on board.
Yeah.
On that, we don't have a huge amount of utility in the deck for it so far. We're also down
But the
here to
1T has Death Touch too, right? So one.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it wouldn't be able to trigger the following effect of venturing into the dungeon because it's not combat damage, but it would be able to.
But it can still take out more targets. With this much Death Touch in the deck, this means that the dagger really can just like kill things, which is why it's kind of exciting to me.
Okay.
It is pretty cute. Like, I'm not sure if it ends up getting a slot, but at least it's something.
Mm-hmm.
Bull Strength is back if you wanted to take that, or we can take a Ranger's Hawk here.
Or hate
frankly,
Ranger's Hawk if we want to leave ourselves open to the possibility of going into white, because it is just a 1 for a flying 1/1. Has the ability
it's got some dungeon.
Exactly. Give us some dungeon search if we're still looking for it. I do kind of just want the Bull Strength here. So.
Let's do it. I really don't, especially since we're not familiar with the set. I don't mind. This is way more committed than I usually am in pack 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think I've ever had a pack 1 where I'm actually only in 2 colors. But we don't know the set that well, and it's kind of working.
We don't know the set that well. A lot of the times when I'm, exploring a new game, I'll look for some theme and then hard play into that theme until I understand the rest of the set, and then I can actually make more decisions. Because otherwise it's just too much information you're trying to take in at any given time. But also, I would argue that a lot of these have been premium picks. So
they have been really good. No, there's no doubt in my mind these are strong cards. The only thing that I think is particularly lacking is I would like to see a couple higher CMC, like more in-game spells and creatures. I think that's a big lacking element.
It feels like with green and black, we should be able to find those.
I'm hoping, right? Like, green almost always has some beefy mastodon-looking fool. Yeah.
So Bull Strength, there is 1 extra bonus to it. It gains Trample.
Trample. Combat damage to the yeah. Okay, let's take it.
Sure.
Let's take it. You don't have to sell me too hard. Listen. While I haven't ever played this game, it came back.
It came back.
If I had ever played this game, and we could take a Great Axe maybe, or do you want to take the Inspiring Bard? Great Axe is kind of fun.
I'm fine with taking the Great Axe.
If I had ever played this game, I particularly liked a few decks that did some really nasty stuff with instant green buffs. And so, yeah, I'm sold. Yo.
Oh boy.
That is a spooky looking individual up there in the top left.
Ain't it just? What's he doing?
Grazilax, Illithid Scholar. A legendary creature and a horror. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to its owner's hand. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Wow. Granted, it's a 3/2. And the problem is there's a bunch of... How many freaking legendary creatures are there in this set?
No kidding.
It's really a lot. And This is a mechanic. Well, we'll talk about it when we get into fights, right? Go ahead.
It kind of has to be just because of the lore of Dungeons and Dragons, because you want to
Right.
named characters on the cards, and then it's like this person is
Yep.
legendary. Like,
Yep. Yeah. You can't have multiple Grasslax. There's only one. My concern is that these legendary creatures seem to share something in common. Because here's the Baldur's Gate character again, also in this set. They force mana pretty hard, right? Either 2 of one type or 1 and 1, blue-black. And they have pretty small bodies. And so didn't we saw like a goblin that pings something? It's so easy to remove this from the board.
Yeah.
And then it was a 3 cost with 2 blue that could have had a neat effect, except it didn't, right? So I really want to be like, oh yeah, here's our card draw engine for a draft game. Like, that's pretty awesome. You've got some flyers, you've got some trample, you've got some over-the-top mechanisms to deal damage to a player, and now you're drawing more cards. Like, I want to draw more cards, but it's just so small, man.
Yeah.
And look what we've seen so far. I don't know. Yeah.
Although, I will draw attention to one other card in this pack immediately, which is the Shambling Ghast. Just a 1 black zombie. When Shambling Ghast dies, choose 1. Target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until the end of the turn. That would apply immediately after the damage step, so you would have the ability to kill an enemy with 2 health. And search the body, create a treasure token.
It's pretty nice. Yo, Green Dragon is back here too.
It's true.
And we were looking for...
We were, but is a 4/4 flyer like the bomb? It could be. It easily could be.
So... I see
skeleton.
Do you want to just take more skellies? It's really tempting, actually.
It is.
This is a pretty nuts pack. So the reason that I'm tempted by the Green Dragon is that the commons are more likely to wheel. 4/4 is actually just as good as our stat line has been so far. It is a flyer, and even though there are a lot of flyers in reach, depending on who we fight, it might get over. And we're seeing some stuff. Like, we see Spare Dagger. Even without Death Touch, when Green Dragon hits the field, we can use Spare Dagger to kill anything.
While true, pings in green-black, if we're going to be committing, are going to be pretty rare.
Pretty rare. Yeah, this would want to be like green-red, right? And that makes sense with the dragon. I'm just trying to convince myself, because I want to see more things at 6 cost is part of it. But I really like Clattering Skeletons, and I really like this Ghast as well. And then there's Cursed Idol again. There's a Mimic in this pack. Like, there's a lot of perfectly good options.
So part of my reason behind this is because on 4 we have exactly 2 cards so far, and both of those cards are Clattering Skeletons. If we could have just a playset where we're just putting out Clattering Skeletons on 4 exclusively,
and it's draft. There's no limit. If you can put 6 Clattering Skeletons in your deck, then you can put 6 Clattering Skeletons in your deck.
As many as you can.
It's not even bad.
23 Clattering Skeletons in the deck. Thank you.
My deck is not very good, but it sure do cacophonous oscillomorph.
What are you doing? You're a 2-drop for black. When Hide Hexblade enters the battlefield, if mana from a treasure is spent to cast it, you draw a card and lose a life.
That's kind of cool, actually.
How much treasure acquisition do we
have?
What?
Displacer Beast, Cat Beast. The Black Staff of Waterdeep.
The Black Staff of Waterdeep. What's it do?
Legendary artifact. Everything legendary all the time. You may choose not to untap the Black Staff of Waterdeep during your untap stab. Animate Walking Statue. 1 colorless, 1 blue, and tap this. Another target non-token artifact you control becomes a 4/4 artifact creature for as long as the Black Staff of Waterdeep remains tapped. Activate only as a sorcery. This is cute.
It is. Maybe if we were blue. Displace
Cat Beast.
When it enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Displacement. Return it to your hand. Do it again.
That's kind of a cool card.
It's kind of cool, but it's very much to it. Like, because you got to pay the 4 to put it back into your hand, and then 3 to put it back out on the field.
If only there were any mechanisms to ramp mana.
Gosh. It's I've been wishing the whole time.
Hey, this Direwolf Prowler is back too, by the way, if we just want to start getting some more
it totally
fill.
is, isn't it? And because it's not a tap ability, you can just activate this Oh no, never mind. It says No, I was reading through the card as I was saying that. Activate only once each turn, so it can get up to a total of 4/4.
Maybe we should just take this.
Yeah, we can drop it as a 5 mana card. It's a 4/4 haste.
I'm down to the sludge at the bottom of my cold brew that I made. Yeah, that's where the real energy is. You just got to brave it.
Mm-hmm.
You just eat it up. You just got to get it gritty in your teeth a little bit.
Ooh, that's what you like to see. You want some real texture to your coffee, I see.
Al dente coffee.
Al dente. God damn it, Teak. This is a hunt. We haven't seen this one as well. 3 CMC instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each mana from a treasure. Okay, so again, it's a treasure spend. Then that creature deals damage equal to its power to a target creature that an opponent controls. So you would have the ability to snipe someone with this.
That's kind of cool.
What's the force battle? It's force battle. It forces a battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
no, it doesn't force battle.
Or
You
duel?
just deal. It's not duel.
Yeah. It's not. You're right. Duel is the effect, I think, right? But
yes.
yeah. I like this, but the treasure thing, maybe this is. I think this is Hired Hexblade or Direwolf. Honestly, I think those are the real picks for us here. We want to have a deck that actually has a ramp of creatures.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm leaning. If we were trying to stay open,
we spike on 2 right now with creatures already. We've got 3 creatures on 2.
That's true.
Let's take the Direwolf.
Arcane Investigator is also here, but I don't know that I'm ready to like embrace another color into the deck. Yo, it's Eyes of the Beholder. It's back. That did not wheel last time. I like that card. But there's a Manticore.
There's another
There's a Feign Death. And did it not come back last time? No, we got it.
We did.
Oh, we took it,
didn't we? Over Thieves' Tools, and then Thieves' Tools wheeled. There's the Feign Death, but also I want to look at the Sylvan Shepherd, a 3-cost with Vigilance. Whenever Sylvan Shepherd attacks, roll a d20, and then it's just life gain.
This is helpful if we think we're playing a lot of red pingy fools, and they'll be out there. Legendary creature trigger. Oh, what is the legendary creature? We're not going to take it, but I'm just curious what it says. Something about triggering an additional time. Room abilities of dungeons you own trigger an additional time. That's neat. That's pretty cool.
It's entirely outside our color set right now.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, this Manticore is a flash and flying creature.
Let's have a look. It's a 4-cost flash flying. Tail spikes when it enters the battlefield. Destroy target creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. I see.
It's not bad.
Yeah, we could like go for a battle phase, go to main phase 2, and then use the Manticore to just instantly kill something.
There are 3 really solid black cards here, I think.
There are. And also
actually 4
here.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, 3 really solid, and also Sepulchre cool. Yeah, exactly. If there were more on death effects,
Feign or Manticore, I'm happy with any of them here.
I think I'd like to go Eyes.
Okay, let's get some.
I think that we haven't seen a lot of big creatures, but when the enemy summons their mythic rare, 8/8 golem, we'll be really happy.
L2 Guard Ranger is a 5-drop here. Has reach as a 4/1. When Altar Guard Ranger enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 Green Wolf. So it's a 4/1 and a 2/2 for 5.
I just wish it weren't a 4/1. Why is its butt so small?
It feels like it's so vulnerable to a ping.
It totally is. It's just going to die, and its wolf is going to mourn its death, which is very beautiful and cinematic. We should click on it and take it.
Let's do it.
It's a beautiful story.
Wild Shape. Wild Shape. Instant. Choose one. Until end of turn, target creature you control that has base power and toughness becomes a creature type. Becomes that creature. Sorry. Until end of turn, target creature you control has that base power and toughness.
Becomes that
creature type and gains that ability. Oh, okay. And then the following are 1/3 total with hexproof, 1/5 with reach.
That is so confusingly worded.
And gains that ability though. So it's in addition to what it ever is on its base, right? So this
and that's why it's worded that way.
1T.
Yeah, and like you could put it on the wolf and it could still get the +2/2. We have that Prowler, the Direwolf Prowler.
Yep.
It's not a bad card, actually. It's just, it took us 6 reads to understand what it does.
This is a very versatile combat trick.
It's instant. Yeah, yeah.
There's
It'll
a
let
lot
you
of
trade
find the
something.
path if we want to, keep ramping all the way up to our.
I suspect that will
eyes
come
of the
back.
beholder.
I have a suspicion.
Right on that.
50 feet of rope is here too, which is like not bad. Just tie up. It's literally just tie up.
Yeah, the ability to
Not a lot of
get
walls.
the enemy that way.
Yeah.
I think we
Let's
take
go wild shape. That's fun. Yeah, I like that.
Ooh.
Temple of the Dragon Queen, and also dungeon crawler.
Dungeon crawler enters tapped. When you complete a dungeon, you may return it from your graveyard to your hand.
Why does it enter tap?
Oh, because it's a 1 cost and it's a 2/1. So a lot of black creatures that are 1 costs or 2 costs that are above their stat line just enter tapped.
You gotta crawl up out of the ground, break through the grave. Sorry, glade. My bad. Temple of the Dragon Queen. What does this do? It's a land. It's a battlefield. You may reveal it. I'll read it out loud so that my voice may be heard among the people in the glade. As Temple of the Dragon Queen enters the battlefield, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. Temple of the Dragon Queen enters the battlefield tapped unless you reveal a dragon card this way or you control a dragon. As Temple of the Dragon Queen enters the battlefield, choose a color and then add 1 mana of the chosen color on any turn. Dude, this is not actually even bad. Even if you don't have a dragon, it's just will give you mana fix.
It gives you mana fix, but you have to choose on play what it's going to be for the rest of the game.
Right. But that's often something that you know early on in a draft game. You're like, oh, I've drawn, 3 black mana.
Yeah. And it's tapped as well.
I think that right now, the reason that I'm not too worried about taking this is that we have a pretty clear green and black thing going on. And also none of them have, other than Eyes of the Beholder, which is 6 CMC, none of them require more than 1 of any particular color. And so I think this is much less important, which opens us up to just continue to take the good cards. But this is the kind of land that like I really don't mind drafting. And we already know that there's a green dragon floating around somewhere, so we could even get cute. It's not great, but it's fine.
I'm not against it. I will say, like, my is the dungeon crawler out of these, but I'll happily go with it if you're behind it.
No, I would take the dungeon crawler here. I'm just noting that I don't mind this kind of mana fix, especially if there weren't treasure tokens around. Then I'm like all over this.
It's just a buzzing in my ears there as one of these cards seems to have, oh no, it would be the dungeon crawler with the flies going around it.
Dude, so I improved my audio setup at some point over the last many moons, and I also happen to live in Texas, and it has been raining a lot, and there have been very many mosquitoes. And so I was streaming one day, and I started making the sound, and I had, no joke, 5 people all at once say, "Teak, stop. It really sounds like there's a mosquito in my ear. You are making me crazy. I'm trying to relax." And I was like, well, that's what it's like. Take a dose of this empathy, baby.
I remember a huge amount of that happened when Crimson Court came out for Darkest Dungeon, and
oh my
all
gosh,
of that area sounds like there's a buzzing in your ear.
Man, that game is beautiful, but if you're not ready to experience some discomfort, then you just can't.
That's why I love that they have the start screen that's like, hey, you will die.
You're gonna die about it. Yeah. Okay.
We've got the Ranger's Longbow here, an artifact equipment, 2 CMC, equipped creature gets +2/+1 and reach.
Oh, that's nice.
Equip cost of 3.
I don't mind it.
Find the path available as well.
Yeah, they really keep showing back up. Weird that no one's taking that card.
I don't think we do need to find some expensive stuff to play.
Yeah, and we're having trouble finding expensive cards. Genuinely. Like, there's not a lot of them. We've seen, 3 cards at 6? One of them is Eye of the Beholder, and we've seen that red Colossus twice.
Yep.
I think we should buy Ranger's Longbow here. I mean, it's not a buy draft, but the pathing will be back and we'll take it. Neverwinter Dryad and the Eyes of the Beholder.
Neverwinter Dryad is a 1-cost green creature dryad. 2 costs to sacrifice it. Search your library for a basic forest card, put it in the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So it's a...
You have to pay for it. Cute.
Although, because it's not a tap, you'd be able to do it at instant. So you'd be able to use it to block or declare your block, and then sack
And then pop it. Yeah. And the enemy's like, hey, what's blocking me? And the answer is rules, mechanics. What's blocking you is a rules judge somewhere. So go find them.
There's also another Eyes of the Beholder here, and we could take
I really
a
don't
second
mind.
giant removal.
I would take it.
So keen.
Yeah. I like having 2 of those in the deck. You find a cursed idol. Devour intellect.
Good lord. Devour intellect. Target opponent discards a card. If mana from a treasure was used to cast it, instead that player reveals their hand, choose a non-land card from it, and they discard it. We don't have a huge amount of treasure synergy, but also like a sorcery that costs 1 in order to do that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
I
think I'm leaning
don't
Cursed
hate
Idol?
taking another cursed idol here, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like pretty much what we're gonna do with the Mimic anyway, right? Is make mana, and then it gives us more options. Hexblade came back. That's cool. All the blues came back. All the blues came back. Feign Death came back, baby!
Thank you.
Not mad.
Not even slightly.
So, like, okay, here's what we have to think. Is there any chance that we ever cast any of these?
No.
Then take the silver one?
We're going to be able to sell that on the secondary market for a decent amount after the
Bar
fact.
the gate over Goblin. What if we end up splashing blue? You're ambushed on the road.
Come on, big drops, baby. Ooh, Bullet. It's a 4-cost beast. At the end of your, at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, put a 1/1 counter on Bullet.
That's cool.
Gross.
Treasure chest is a rare artifact?
Ooh, what's it do though?
Treasure chest, 3 cost. For 4, sacrifice treasure chest and roll a d20. If you roll a nat 1, trapped, you lose 3 life. For 2 to 9, create 5 treasure tokens, which just kind of pays for it, but also lets you spread the love in terms of your mana coverage. 10 to 19, you gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. And for nat 20, search your library for a card. If it's an artifact, you may put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Dude, I like this card.
It is a way for us to spend our mana.
Yep.
I agree. God, I hope Bullet wheels. This is our first draft as well, so we're going to see the thickest version of this pack on the redraw.
There's some black stuff here too that we should look at, by the way. Clattering Skeletons is back. And Precipitous Drop? Yeah, what is this?
It's a 3-cost enchantment. Aura enchants a creature. Whenever Precipitous Drop enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon, enchanted creature gets -2. It gets -5/-5 as long as you've completed a dungeon.
That's pretty cool, and we have a lot of dungeon delving, actually. Some of the dungeons are shorter than the others, it looked like, maybe? Like Mad Mage is kind of long.
Yes, yeah. So there's the shortest, is Tomb of Annihilation, just go 3. Through to Cradle of the Death God. Create the Atropol, a legendary 4/4 Black God horror creature. Token with Death Touch. There's no way you get that in 3 plays, right?
I think that's what...
discard a card and sacrifice a creature, an artifact, and a land. So in order to take one less step here, you have to
go.
Pay.
Yeah. That I get it. It's a painful tomb, but then you get a cool thing and you can get it early.
This is effectively, like, obviously it's unfortunately at sorcery speed, but it is a ping a target and also venture into the dungeon, which if we venture into the dungeon and kill something, that's a positive trade for us. That's up value.
There's a really cool bug on my desk.
Ooh.
It was like iridescent and shiny and very strange, but very small. I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, and I was like, I wonder if I've given this one to the museum yet. I better capture it. I'll take it to Blathers. Okay. There are many good things here.
You like Treasure Chest. I like Precipitous Drop.
Truthfully, I don't like Treasure Chest because I think that it's necessarily the best pick. I like Treasure Chest because I just enjoy this. If we're doing the D&D themed set, I want at least one card which involves genuine D20 wildness. And the fact that we could roll a D1 and just punish ourselves for 7, or we can draw 3 or search our whole library and put things on the board. It's like the positive effects aren't even clearly that good at cost, but it's just so beautifully thematic. And it fits in whatever deck we make because it's colorless.
That is true. I'll take it if you prefer it.
I think we should take the treasure chest.
Okay. I hope.
I just want one pet.
There are 3
One
other cards
pet.
in there that I am happy to have wheel and then come back. Oh my god! There's our bomb. Zombie Ogre is a 5. It's a 3/5. Not great in stats, but at the beginning of your end step, if creature died this turn, venture into the dungeon.
Nice. What's
There's another
Barrowin of
Thieves' Tools.
Cloud Clan Undor? Unfortunately, we're probably not white, but
Barrowin of Clan Undor. Legendary creature of Dwarf Cleric. Whenever it enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Whenever it attacks, return 1 creature card with mana value of 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. To the battlefield! If you completed it. We only need 1 treasure to be able to play Barrowin.
that's like kind of tempting, right? And we're gonna be doing dungeon stuff, and then we can even do the short dungeon, sacrifice a character, and then bring them back instantly.
Our cursed idols generate treasure tokens and venture into the dungeon.
Do you want to take a Barrowin?
I think
It's only a
maybe.
3/3, but like
It's 4 CMC as well.
it might be cool. Yeah,
It might be.
I know. I
this
want both,
hurts.
right? I think that might wheel. I don't think the Barrowin will. Wheel.
I don't think it wheel. All right, let's do Barrowin. There's also another spare dagger here, and Thieves' Tools, and Zombie Ogre. There's a lot of.
There's
value
so many
available.
good things for us, and we know Thieves' Tools comes back around.
Another-
Baleful Beholder,
What's
bro,
it do?
dude.
What's it do?
Okay, Baleful Beholder is 6 CMC, 4 and 2 black mana, a 6/5. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1 anti-magic cone. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment or fear ray. Creatures you control gain menace until end of turn. Menace meaning they have to be blocked by 2 or more, not just 1. Yo, there it is. There's our 6-drop creature, or at least one of them, right?
There
You probably
it
just click it.
most certainly is. I'm just taking a very quick second to have a look at the others, and then I'll click it.
Yeah, I think that's a sign.
Dog!
There's another cursed idol. Winky.
Dog!
Is this what's your theoretical hypothetical Reggie? Yeah. Will Reggie have the world's longest ears like this? This dog kind of has some lion in it.
Reggie is going to be a Bernese Mountain Dog, so unlikely. But
Unlikely to have long pointy cat ears.
it's
A Bernie.
beautiful specimen.
Faces out. It's a cute dog. +2 mace.
Boy.
Oh my gosh, D&D, please. Yo, Clattering Skeletons is here again.
It
Are we gonna have
is
6 of these?
also Find a cursed.
I know.
Leather
No.
armor 1. A equipped
Oh,
creature.
the ward is
that's
nice.
+0/+1 and has ward 1, and it's an
Mhm.
equipped 0 as well. Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly,
Skellies or idle?
I think it's one of these two. Yeah.
Which one do you think is more likely to come back?
Man, people haven't been picking idle, and I don't understand it. But the thing is, on curve, idle isn't bad even, because we can use it to create a treasure token and venture into the dungeon, and that's a really good setup for a turn 3 to be able to skip immediately into our falls of the Clattering Skeletons.
You get to do both. You do, right? Treasure
Yeah.
and venture?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I feel like Cursed Idol comes back more often than Clattering Skeletons. But if we don't have enough guaranteed treasures, we'll struggle with some of our weird splashy stuff. I'm good with either here, man. I'm good with either. I'm delighted by the prospect that we might have 6 Skellies, but I'm also not married to it.
Mm-hmm.
Check for traps.
5, so we haven't seen a full wheel yet, but there is a
Plummet.
Thieves' Tools in here. Also
Yeah.
a Plummet. That's we're in color to play Plummet as well.
We are. And there's a lot of white flyers. There's some green flyers.
Probably some blue.
We know some
flies,
blue.
Yes.
Yeah. Check for traps. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card. What is the rest of check for traps?
Exile that card. If an instant or a card with flash is exiled this way, they lose a life. Otherwise, you lose a life.
Oh, cute.
Oh,
Okay.
so yeah, you just drop their bomb from their hand.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't think this is necessarily our pick. Because I do like the other two better. I like this card. And being able to see their hand is just value in and of itself, right? I'd spend a life to be able to see their hand and get to take something out. 100%. What's Circle of the Moon Druid? Bear form, as long as it's your turn. The bear. Oh, cute. Attacker or defender? Oh, That's cool. Okay.
That's decent.
Yeah, man. This pack is pretty split for me. There's nothing that I'm like, this is definitely the buy. I like Plummet. I think more than Thieves' Tools, I like Plummet or Check for Traps. Although I do like the Thieves' Tools too.
Let's take the Plummet. Have a response.
Okay. Golem is back. Dungeon map here too.
Dungeon map. Add a colorless on tap to 3-cost artifact, and 3 tap is venture into the dungeon. Activate only as a sorcery.
So it ends up costing you kind of like 6 to go into the dungeon, but you can do it multiple times in theory.
If only we had some ramp.
If only there was ramp in this set. Gosh.
There is a Fate's Reversal here as well. Return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, venture into the dungeon.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing with Feign Death, right? And this one's a sorcery. I like this, and I like Iron Golem.
I think I like this more than Iron Golem.
Okay. The forced attack is like, they're going to die. Baleful Beholder is back!
Baleful Beholder. Ooh, there's also a Horde Robber. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Again, it's combat damage, but we do have more support for that now.
My fear is that we have not seen big cards in this set. And so I'm kind of like in the mind, we're at the end of pack 3? You know, it's like we got to take the biggie boys.
Do we need
Eye of the Beholder, another Cursed Idol. Every single pack has a freaking Cursed Idol, dude.
Cursed Idol is not
my
bad for us,
gosh.
but we are spiked hard on 2. We're going to need 4 more 4-cost creatures if we want to do that. We're pretty
Although
likely to have
it's
a Cursed
okay
Idol
that
in
it's
our
spiked
opening
hard
hand.
on 2 because we're generating treasures and stuff, right? So
Yes.
kind of makes our curve weird.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
if so many of our 2s are going to generate a treasure, then for maximum like tempo, the next turn we're going to want to sack the treasure in order to play a 4. So I really want to spike on 2s and 4s if we're doing that, because we're going to have a Cursed Idol in our opening hand almost
I see what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense.
I think we take it.
Over the Beholder?
We've got 2 copies of Eyes of the Beholder, and what we've seen so far is we're not seeing a lot of it's expensive. We're not seeing a lot of big minions. So do we want to take the we've never seen anything with 10-10 or 11-11,
It's true.
8-8. We've seen 4-4s max, 6-4.
It's true.
As well.
It's true. No, I agree. It feels like we were countering the threat that either that or we just got super unlucky. Hey, Boulette came back.
Bullet came back.
Boulette.
It's a 4 as well.
Thieves' Tool came back.
Thieves' Tools did come
There was some
back.
other stuff in this pack that we wanted to see, but this is fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of those wheeled.
Bull Strength, I guess, over Devour.
Yeah, I think so.
Bummer.
Self about.
More than Cannon Polymorph.
Woo, baby! This is a good last
think
pack to see. I don't think we want
I think we take the check. Yeah, I think it's check for traps here. Iron Golem. So what did we miss on? Actually, some of the idols didn't come back, surprisingly. But we have 5 of them. That's like a lot. We could theoretically have 5 of 40 cards with an idol.
We could
Okay,
indeed.
so for people who have not done this and are following along, we will now take all of the cards that we drafted and make a 40 card deck, including lands. And then we'll explain more once we're into the fights. But basically, we need to look through all of the cards that we have and try to put together a reasonable deck. And we can even adjust it between rounds of draft. But for now, it's just kind of the best neutral deck that we can build.
So initially, I'm just going to immediately drop the ones off color that we're probably not going to be able to play.
Yep.
Because that's going to make a lot of space, simplify a lot of things for us. We are keeping Barrowin, if I recall correctly.
I think so. I think it makes sense here, especially with the treasures. It has a useful enough effect that I'm, excited by it. And I like that we have 2 Baleful Beholders and 2 Eyes of the Beholder. It's just like, wow, look, there they are,
That's
our
our Beholder
Beholders.
endgame, baby.
Yeah, it's Beholders only.
That's
where we're headed.
as well on that.
Who's Xanathar?
Xanathar is the beholder who runs Xanathar's guild, I think it's called, in Waterdeep. It's a very well-known beholder in
Okay, I thought it was Xanathar gum, a primary ingredient, and gum, but no, it's a
No. But there is a beholder called Xanthem who gets mistaken for it consistently.
I see. So this is kind of tough. We've actually accidentally drafted a pretty reasonable, just general deck.
Yeah.
Like all of these cards kind of have a role.
Our curve dips hard on 3, but we agree that's fine because the 2 and the 4 spike will
as long as we have enough idols. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's talk about. How can we do this? Let's take out everything that's not key. This is always so hard for me. This is part of why I played a lot of constructed and not draft.
Yep.
Is that it's hard for me to look at draft because I'm like, all of these cards do something. What are the things we know we have to run? And let's actually like take the other stuff out. Let's try to get down to like, 15 cards here.
I like the idea of that. Let's spam to solve both problems at the same time. Let's spam everything out of the deck and then re-include with priority of this is just so good, this is coming back in.
Okay.
Because then it's way easier for us to build up rather than cut back.
Yeah, I agree.
Just remove all these. Get out of here! I don't need any of you.
None of this is relevant to me.
We go in with only 17 lands. Oh, 0 lands now. Okay.
And now, can we do the other view for this part? Maybe.
I think that's a good idea.
Oh, does that actually even help? I don't know.
I think it does here.
Okay.
Immediately, I think we need all 3 of the clattering skeletons.
I think so too.
I think that if we're doing that,
I think
Feign Death is double included as well.
Okay, so there's kind of our core plan is black minions living and dying.
Not necessarily, because we have like a couple payoffs for that. Obviously, the clattering skeletons are venturing for us, and then we have the bullet, which is also benefiting from that. But really, this is just a minion that is annoying, that keeps coming back, that keeps giving us a benefit every time it do.
Yep. Let's put bullet in.
Like that. Bullet is on the next page. We'll drop that in.
Yep.
I think we are, by virtue of our curve, we are confirmed to need as many cursed idols as
all 5. Okay.
I think so.
Let's put in at least our 2 baleful beholders. I think that we should have those in. Probably so let's take a moment and look. So do we want both eyes? Because it's possible that actually we don't need 2 eyes of the beholder. That may even be kind of a sideboard card for us.
Okay. Let's cut it down to 1.
You know what I mean?
But I know we do need at least 1.
I would agree with that. Now let's look at creature curve. So right now what we're lacking is some reasonable turn 1 and 2 plays.
Yes. So
what do we have?
At those, we've got the Dungeon Crawler, who is synergistic with our completion of dungeons. He's
Let's do it.
Only 1-drop minion, as far as I can see.
Then as far as I can tell, it needs to go in, right?
We've then the Underdark Basilisk and 1T as a 2 and a 3, each of them being our Death Touch triggers. I don't know if we're going to include the spare dagger at this point.
Yeah, we might not.
But
yeah, but that's what we thought when we took it too, is that it felt a little cute. Okay. What about Hired Hexblade?
Because if this is one of the reasons that I put 5 copies of the idol in. Because if we do that, and then we are dropping a land every turn, on turn 3, we can pop the treasure from the Cursed Idol in order to get the white mana, and then we just play out Barrowin, and that's the end of our needing of
I'm thinking about the 5 Cursed Idols. My only concern is, like, one way I like to think about draft is, how will I feel if I draw this at the detriment of something else? And so Cursed Idol says, most of the time for us, the fact that it's destroy, artifact, and enchantment really helps, because it's also removal, but it's not removal of land and it's not removal of creature. And so if we're drawing this at the detriment of having creatures on board, we feel pretty bad, except some of the dungeons let us generate creatures, don't they?
Yep.
There's going to be like a fair amount of creature on board in this set. Enemies are doing it too. Mana, or like little goblin tokens, the 4/4 like lich thing that we're making, the death god or whatever. And so I think that this is fine, because if there are enough venture into dungeon, then this actually represents creatures, right? And it's bringing back some of our other creatures. So I think we can do 4 or 5, but I definitely don't want to I don't want us to be in a position where we're like, well, we're including this one creature, so we need 5 cursed idols, right? That ain't it. Yeah.
It's more, I want to be able to guarantee it's in the opening hand for using the Steal Its Eyes effect to be able to skip to our 4s from R2.
Yeah.
But in particular as well, even outside of that circumstance, later on, it is very good targeted removal for the kinds of things that seem like they could get out of control in this set, because we haven't seen that many minions that get out of control, but we've seen artifacts and enchantments we want.
Yeah. Let's take the other Cursed Idol and let's do Barrowin. I feel pretty okay about it. I think the Cursed Idol has enough of an effect, but what I'm wondering with this many Cursed Idols is, do we ever end up taking like some of our lands out? Do we play short landed?
Ooh.
Oh, we'll have to fix this. It put planes in for Barrowin, but I don't think we should run planes.
Yeah, we'll be cutting those.
Yeah. Or at least like we shouldn't run more than one. We could run like one plane, but it should be swamps and forests.
Maybe we could do like 16 lands instead of 17, but I wouldn't want to go too far in that direction.
I know.
Like, I mean, we do have one other as well, right? We've got, if we wanted to include it, although I think this is not necessarily super likely at this point, Find the Land, Find the Path is effectively an extra land for us in terms of the generation of our mana. It's not an extra land for us in terms of playing a land each turn, though.
So Direwolf Prowler is this our next inclusion. I'd still like to see more creatures, I think.
Yeah. I think for that same reason, Intrepid Outlander makes sense.
And I like the Intrepid Outlander, yeah.
We're up to 37.
What about Wild Shape? Is this strong enough to be in our base?
Choose one until end of turn. Again, it's an instant. Only requires one green open. People aren't going to expect you to play an instant against them if you've only left one green open on their turn. Choose one until end of turn. Target creature has the base power and toughness of whatever we've selected. So this is very much an early kind of response. We can use the reach to be able to block a flyer. A lot of the time the unit will die.
The Elephant with Trample is something that we identified could be cool if we are playing at least Yuan Ti.
It counters removal. You stack it on the enemy trying to remove one of your minions. You turn it into a turtle with hexproof.
Yeah.
Target falls off.
Just using it to protect our creatures is legit too. Okay, let's look. What else is there? There's Check for Traps if we think that we need some reach into the enemy's hand tech. There's Treasure Chest, which is clearly a requirement. Oh, there's also Elfregard Ranger too, which if we really think what we need is more creatures, then here's another one.
A creature that
which I'm kind of thinking is true. What about Hired Hexblade? Did we decide that's a creature we don't need in the deck?
So when it enters, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, I mean, look, it could like we create a lot of treasure in this deck right now.
I think if we're playing 5 Cursed Idols, then we should play the Hexblade.
Love it.
Right?
Part of me,
man, we're left with all of the kind of cutesy techie cards, except some of these are not cute. Like some of these are real, like Plummet, Eye of the Beholder, Check for Traps, Treasure Chest, not cute, very, very real.
Ooh.
It's not real.
Thieves' Tools gives us the ability to have Barrowin attack for safe as well. Like, not ever worry about being blocked.
That's true. That's pretty good.
Thieves' Tools inclusion is particularly okay. I just want to look at some of the other stats, because Balut goes out of it really quickly. Direwolf loses its benefit if it pumps. Clattering doesn't get it at all. 1T, Underdark. So 1, 2, 3.
There's a bunch of stuff.
4. We've got a decent amount of targets for it, more than I thought.
And any tokens we make.
And it also just enters with a treasure token, so it's another thing. It could actually, it could be, adding a Thieves' Tool could be the reason we get to take one more idol out if we want to the slot.
Yeah, that's tempting. I like the card. I think it's cool tech.
I did that substitution, just leaving us open for still a possibility of adding one more thing here.
Right, because we should be thinking about what do we need? What is the core? What is the core? What's our core ramp? What's our core? And a beautiful thing about draft is that, you know, you're not trying to reach a perfectly well-crafted 4-turn trajectory. You're just trying to make sure that in general, every turn you have something useful to do. That's it. That's the primary thing that you want with draft is, am I getting some utility out of all of my turns and all of my mana? If so, that's about as happy as I can get. Sorry.
Draft games like this...
No, that's it.
Just because it's relevant, draft games like this are more often decided by tempo than almost anything else. You can outvalue an enemy, but you do that by being ahead of them on tempo. You can combo out
Yep.
an enemy, but it's much easier to get together if you've already outvalued them. Like,
Yep.
I like our curve. Like, it looks jank, but then when you remember a lot of this is giving us extra mana, then it looks way less jank.
Yeah. How do we feel about like number of creatures? Like, what's, kind of probabilistically?
14 creatures, 8 non.
It's not bad, right? I mean, 40 card deck.
In venturing as well, we're going to be getting some more tokens. We've got some things that create tokens also.
Yeah,
Rarely.
that's right.
So.
I feel like that's enough creatures. It's not like there's that much other stuff anyway. 3 instants, 4 sorceries, and 1 artifact. Right now it's like,
what do you think about Plummet?
I know, right? So let's look at like our remaining contenders and talk about why we would include them in the base deck.
Sure.
So
we'll
check
skip
for
over the
traps.
first 5.
Yeah, check for traps is about information and removal. And it's pretty flexible removal as long as it's timely. We can only remove from the hand. So we need to do it before the creature gets played. We include check for traps if we think that we're worried about the enemy's late game plays, which is generally true in draft, and it's probably good. Okay.
Fate's Reversal. Return up to 1 creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Venture into the dungeons.
This is another way for us to recycle our Dungeoneers.
It's another way to recycle those cards, although at a pretty large cost. Obviously, you're paying 2 on the sorcery speed to be able to get it back into hand, playing 4 to put it back on the field. It does give us the ability to venture into the dungeon, so it gets a lot more focus when the critical mass of venturing into the dungeon is reached.
Yeah.
Which I think we are also still relatively close to with the Cursed Idols. And
let's look at the 3 dungeons and think about which dungeons we're likely going to do, because, as an example, if we're going into the dungeon of the Mad Mage, this changes things a bit because we're scrying a lot. And all of a sudden, we can afford to have kind of an awkward deck because we're fixing it a lot of the time, right?
So this has Dungeon Mad Mage first is gain a life, scry, and then an option between a treasure token or target creature can't attack until your next turn. There's also another scry 2 between that and the Runestone Caverns. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them, occurring in a single step. Muriel's Graveblood, giving us 2 black 1/1 skeleton creatures. Then there's scry 3, and then finally draw 3 and reveal them. You can cast one of them without paying its mana cost. We might have the critical mass that is required to get through this many stages. 1, 2, 3.
I'm worried that it's like, do we really have a bomb? Are we gonna experience enemies that like just have a stronger creature to put on the board? I feel like Baleful Beholder is pretty good.
It's pretty good. This is the bombiest
best we saw.
have access to.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. There's also another Thieves Tools if we want to be very certain that we have the Thieves Tools out by that time.
Right.
There's also another. It's worth noting. We've also got the extra copy of Cursed Idol, extra copy of Eyes of the Beholder if we really care about the enemy. We've got Plummet,
and they might end up coming in.
They may well do.
Destroyed creature with flying, Wild Shape, which we talked about. Why are we playing Wild Shape? We're playing Wild Shape because we want to get cute with trample or to protect a unit from removal. That's basically it, right? Maybe the 1/5 spider with reach in the first 3 turns to just block an enemy's 2 damage flyer or something.
Especially if it draws them a card or something like that.
Right. Which we didn't see a lot of. Great Axe, if we just want to put more damage online. That Bull Strength for the same reason, actually.
Both of those give us the ability to get some more damage
and
online.
Treasure Chest, if we want to embrace the D20.
We do have... Look, I would be completely fine with the idea of including Treasure Chest as a joy percent.
It is certainly a joy percent card. I don't think it wins us many games.
I do not think so either, no. We could also Ranger's Longbow, right? Like, if we're looking for damage that's a bit more versatile in allowing us to protect ourselves from reach because we're not adding Plummet, then Ranger's Longbow is available.
Yeah, that's true. It lets us turn our creatures into plummets and also push with them. That kind of versatility is what we need, right? That's really what we're looking for here. Increasingly, I'm convincing myself that this is either check for traps or it's Fate's Reversal or Rangers. And the reason is I either need to be able to just continue to push more damage numbers, or we need to keep the opponent from being able to do the thing that stops us from pushing our damage numbers, right? That's basically the way this deck is going to win. Because truthfully, I think that if this goes particularly long, based on the amount of text that we read, opponents are likely to have decks that actually do something really powerful in the end game. And I think that we need to basically outvalue them with skeletons until that point. Like, I think that's our hope.
I would say that for that reason,
Mm-hmm.
Cursed Idol or Fates are probably the ones
Okay.
I'm leaning towards.
Okay.
So if we're both leaning in the direction of Fates, I'd be happy to take it.
Let's go Fates. I like the Fates. Let's go
Do it.
Fates. And we want to get into a game anyway. Like, the game is going to reveal to us a lot about how this is performing.
And then we need to go to art styles. No, don't go like that. Where do I add more?
Top right.
Top right.
Oh, it's easier. It's easier from the
menu?
like switch deck mode. Yeah, because then you can. I think you click on the swamps and forests that are in there some way and like add more.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. So I removed 2 planes. What's our color breakdown at the moment? Relatively equal, a little more on black. We might want to go extra swamp.
Yeah, and black is the only single one CMC.
Mm-hmm.
Go 16 lands, 9 swamp, 7 forest. Feels good. Do we need 17?
We're 1 down, so 17. We could go 9. No, I prefer 10 and 7 just because of the dungeon crawlers and the Feigned. Well, Feigned Death's not, but the dungeon crawler.
Yeah, I agree. And we
Okay.
need 2 black mana for our Baleful Beholders and the Eye of the Beholder. So yeah, leaning the direct. Yeah, there's only 1, 2. Well, Cursed Idols, right? But yeah. Okay, dude, I think we should run it out. I think we should run it out.
I think we certainly should. We are
Let's
done.
take a fight.
Which means it is almost time to jump into our first fight. And we are back. Welcome to those of you who have jumped over the draft, or rather welcome back to the video. Here is the deck that we have ultimately created at the end of it.
To be clear, the deck is this part on the right, not the cards on the left. Those are our...
These are the cards that just weren't good enough to make it. So our deck is in particular based around the idea of using resources on 2 mana to be able to generate resources that give us the ability to immediately skip to our 4 mana, seeing the peaks on our 2 and 4 mana converted costs here. Ultimately, what we're looking to do is utilize a mechanic called the venturing into the dungeon. We're going to be having a lot of cards that venture into the dungeon. We're going to try and get value out of those ventures. We will explain ventures as we actually go into them. That is part of the core theme of the deck. And then we have a decent amount of removal and a couple of bombs for the late game. A very kind of reasonable, frankly, draft here.
In general, I would say that compared to other draft decks that I have seen, this one errs on the side of fairly cheap and fairly small creatures. And so it's definitely going to be a lot about valuing the opponent by cycling those creatures, making new ones with the venture into the dungeon, and otherwise trying to get more with less. But we'll see how it goes. Because I'm completely unfamiliar with this set, I'm really curious to see opponents' decks. You know, I mean, we're really venturing into the dark here. And we might, after the first game, like immediately change our deck. We might be like, okay, we need those plummets, you know, we need to cycle some things out. So
we have all of those available should we need to, up against Nopius.
What a cool avatar. You know, I'm actually fine with that.
Yeah, so
I'd love to see our skeletons, but just having 4 lands, like we might get flooded, we might get land flooded, but I kind of would rather that than the alternative.
Yeah, with 4 lands and play on 2 and 3, I'm happy. Keep.
Yeah. Got a Feigned Death to be able to, you know, double play one of those creatures. Forests out there, so there, keep them guessing.
Keep them guessing. Don't tell them what's going on. In fact, you don't even know that I have
Bullet,
any
nice and early
sources.
too. Yeah, we simply don't play black. Basilisk here early. And so
here incredibly early. 1 second, I'll just drop the master down because it's a little bit louder than you.
No sweat. Thank you. So this is interesting. So our Basilisk has Death Touch. And so if we were to combat this dwarf, they will die. Whether by blocking them or having them block us. But that's the dwarf that we saw. Doesn't it have a ping effect?
It has a ping effect.
Anyway, we have to
next
next to allow them to resolve this, right? Or did we auto resolve that?
We'll choose attacker. They ended their turn. Do we?
Okay.
Well, I mean, they're not going to play a haste minion after this, unlikely. We'll choose an attacker.
Oh, it automatically skips because we didn't have any mana open, right?
Yes.
I think we should attack with it.
Block. They don't. That's fine. Let's drop
Like,
a swamp.
I'm okay with not holding back to block this, although maybe we should be holding the Basilisk back to block.
I don't think because we're about to summon the Direwolf Prowler.
True. It's just a Underdark Basilisk is a better blocker, right? Because they kill.
Yes.
Yeah, I like this.
It's true.
And then we'll hopefully be able to get Bullet on curve next turn, and then now we're really doing something interesting.
So if you're familiar with card games, you should start recognizing we are using the resources we are generating from these lands in order to be able to summon the minions from our hand or cast spells from our hand. They've chosen to go into the Vandelver Mine.
Interesting. A mine. A mine! So we were being obviously a little bit, a little facetious about knowledge of Magic, but Magic is the mother and father, the alpha and omega and origin of modern card games. And it had one mechanic which at this point I think is considered fairly out of date. Like the design has advanced beyond it, and it's the lands mechanic. Using lands as a source of kind of your curve of play and of mana, right? And so you can only play one land a turn by default, and then you tap those lands in order to create mana for each turn. Most of you will know this. I feel silly explaining Magic the Gathering, but I do think it's important. Like, not everybody plays this game. It's been out for a long time, and so I want to make sure that no one's completely in the dark about how it works. And another mechanic that we're seeing here is each turn you choose which of your units attack, and opponents may choose some number of their characters to block them. If they don't, you do damage to the enemy's face, start with 20 life. If they do, then you resolve a combat. And it seems like this enemy is not interested in blocking, which is not surprising. We see blue-red, so probably they're waiting to build up some kind of crazy tech and then just do damage to our face. They don't want to lose any of this value on board, right?
I just hope there's not that much AoE available.
Yeah, we didn't see any during our draft. But that doesn't mean it's not real.
It would be in red if it were there.
Yeah.
Red or black. Direwolf Prowler is the minion that we played last turn. It has the ability to pump itself, pump as in increase its own stats, for 2 mana, specifically one green and one colorless. Direwolf Prowler gets +2/+2 and gains haste until the end of turn. Haste we don't need to care about anymore, but haste would give them the ability to attack on the turn they were summoned. We've also got Bullet, which I played last. Oh, we should just play something here. I'm going to put down Clattering Skeletons.
I think that we should. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Summon towards Elfguard instead.
What I want to do is make sure we hold back the 1 black mana for Feign Death. That's all. And let's attack with Direwolf and Bullet.
Fine. Let's go to combat. Attack with Direwolf and Bullet.
Maybe not Bullet, right?
Dying? I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe not Bullet. Yeah.
So we're leaving our mana open just in case we do need to pump the Direwolf Prowler.
Like if they block with Displacer Beast or something, which would actually be...
Or Brazen Dwarf,
because
die.
They might do that because they left all their mana open, right? Like they can recall that Displacer Beast.
They could have combat tricks, but we also have the ability to play our own.
Well, the Displacer Beast itself can be recalled to your hand.
Yes.
That's the thing that it does. Yeah.
That is true. When it entered the battlefield, they had the ability to venture into the dungeon. That's what we want to do. But they also have the ability to return it to their hand to do it again.
I think that we should just take this damage here and then get the Clattering Skeletons and put the Swamp out so that we can Feign Death next turn.
I like it.
And like block with Basilisk, right? And Feign Death and then be able to bring it back.
They're probably looking in their hand for a counter right now, bar the gate. Well, we can't. It's not on the board, so we don't have the ability to Feign Death or anything like that. That just goes.
That's fine.
Resolve.
They simply get their counter. I mean, they left all of their mana open. What are we going to do? Just skip our turn? That's like playing right into Blue's hand, right? We simply have to let them get that if they're going to get that.
Yeah, just hand them in like that.
It is annoying because it's like we want that creature to die to feed the Bullet, but we haven't done any of our dungeon delving yet. It's kind of a bummer.
Kind of surprising. We've got 4 copies of the Cursed Idol. Felt like those were probably going to be coming out relatively early. Swarming Goblins. When it enters the battlefield, roll a d20, 1 to 9. They create a red creature token, 2 of the tokens, 3 of the tokens on a 20.
It's going to be a lot of freaking goblins.
Oh,
and it itself... Wow, the freaking nat 20. Get out. The Swarming Goblins itself is a 4/3?
Yeah.
Oh, but they didn't leave any mana open, dude.
They didn't leave any mana open, but that's a board,
Yeah.
baby.
It's a horrifying board. This is where we want return half of opponent's creatures to their hand. Remember that card?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be particularly good.
Like, they didn't attack at all? Huh.
Nope. Well, I mean, we can get our clattering skeletons to stick now.
Do we want to do it second main, though? Or do we want to go ahead and venture now? Is there any early venture that we really care about right here?
Not really. I mean, it ventures when it dies as well, so we can do it in second main.
Hey, does Bullet only get pumped by our creatures or by enemies too?
If a creature died this turn.
Yo, nice.
I mean,
maybe we
send
just
the
Direwolf
Prowler in.
Send it.
I'm happy.
Frankly, if it
against
dies,
the Swarming Goblin because it buffs the Bullet.
Yeah.
Let the enemy
Would we feign death on it? So should we pump it here and get the trade?
I think we pump it. It's just whether or not.
I think so too.
I don't think I care about feign death on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we just pump it, and that lets us leave some mana open too. This causes 2 creatures to die, so our Bullet will be a 5/5.
I think it only gets 1 trigger. It's if anything happened.
Okay.
It lets it survive against an attack from the Displacer Beast already, though.
Yeah. Unfortunate that this means we couldn't bring in the Clattering Skeleton. There's that freaking 6/6 elemental. Man, red is pretty scary here, actually.
Uh-huh.
Like, this board is genuinely horrifying. We cannot block all of these goblins. Why did they get a D20?
Well, they'll get a D20 to roll it in just a moment. God damn it.
Stop.
A 20 and then a 19.
Like, the game was rigged from the start.
I think
it's just like D&D.
Black lands. I hate it.
Oh no, dude! What this means, I don't. So if we do that, we probably can't live. Can we like sacrifice Underdark and then flash to feign death?
No, because the feign death is when it dies and it's not dying.
The reason this horrifies me is that we now cannot afford our Beholder if we draw it. Like, we can't recover is the problem.
We can recover. Obviously, there are lands left in the deck to draw. But I feel like if we lose the Underdark Basilisk, Earth Cult kills us. If we lose Bullet, we just die to everything.
Yeah. No, that's legit. Underdark Basilisk is kind of a big deal for us still. Yo, nice. That's good, and we can actually attack for the 6 now. I mean, we wouldn't, but I like Intrepid because that leaves us mana for feign death. And like being able to feign death Underdark Basilisk is important, I think.
You're right.
Although the enemy's only on 2 cards. Yeah, the enemy's like down to top decking here, but they can certainly do some counter business. Oh gosh.
They're not going to want to have anything attack until they know they can blow out our board, I think, at this point.
That's kind of what it feels like. They're just trying to build up dominant position.
They've got a you roll dice deck. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, and it's kind of working because they only roll D20 for a nat 20. As long as you always roll greater than 15, that's pretty strong.
They could have had to sacrifice a permanent as well. Obviously, they had the goblins, but then at least it'd be 1 less goblin.
Let's see you go ahead resolve. Go ahead. Let's see you roll a 19 again.
They're going to have to invest a lot of mana into doing that. In fact, they'll leave themselves completely tapped out by doing it single time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it's draft. There's a Cursed Idol. We were kind of hoping to see that. Maybe that's the play? You know what's surprising me is how
no artifacts on their board. It's unlikely they play either of them.
Yeah. So just go ahead and do some venturing.
So, get in that dungeon.
You just get in that dungeon, buddy. Okay, which one are we gonna do? Like, I know.
So found.
Do we need to go Tomb of? Is our only hope Tomb of Annihilation? Do we need the Death God?
Choose a card, discard a card, and sacrifice a creature, an artifact, and a land. I mean, the artifact could be the treasure. The land. Oh no, land is really hard for us to sacrifice, so we'd go the other side.
We could go left. We can go left and do life sacrifice, but that's dangerous.
What do you want to do?
Or just scry and fix. let's go. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Fandelver.
Yeah, let's do Fandelver. I was kind of almost wondering if it was Scry to try to find the right answer.
Yeah, on the bottom we already have access to one.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'd love for it to feel right. Timeout used?
Yeah, I spent too long trying to do anything there.
Oh, I see.
Well, I mean, if Intrepid and the Bullet attack this turn, we get to venture into the dungeon. We lose both of them, but we get to venture into the dungeon.
Yeah, we're literally holding everyone back here, I think.
Yeah.
There's the arcane.
Okay.
And now they're going to be making dragons. 13.
They look at the top 3 cards of the library, put one of them into their hand, and the rest on the bottom of the library in any order.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're not really in top teching mode right now. They're also going to generate a 1/1 blue fairy dragon flyer.
Yep.
That deals 1 damage.
Man, where is destroy all cards with CMC 2 or less?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That's what I want.
These.
Like, maybe we put too much stock in dungeon, because we basically need the dungeon to win for us now.
Yeah, we put a lot in dungeon, but we also didn't draw any of it.
That's true, that's true, that's true. And luck do happen.
They counted our clattering. We can't put the second one down on the board at this point as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, 1T is actually not bad.
1T's great.
And that still lets us hold the swamp for Feign Death, too.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to attack with anyone? We literally can't, right? We're just playing... We're playing footsies now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except that I don't know why they're not attacking.
I think they just don't want the Earth Cult Elementals to die to the Underdark Basilisk, but they should really just send a lot of people at us. They're not even sending the flyer.
They literally should be attacking. Like, what they're doing right now is either flexing or poor play.
Thank you.
So this means they have something in their hand to stop the Underdark, but we should still block with it.
Let's declare that block.
We have reach. We can Intrepid Outlander the Fairy Dragon.
Oh, that's true.
If we'd like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to do anything except for try and block those. So.
Yeah.
They get priority now.
Okay, now do your cutesy thing, whatever it is.
Target
double
gains
strike.
Double strike until the end of the turn. Right, so we'll kill the Underdark Basilisk before anything occurs.
Yep. And so then we...
Annoying. We can keep
we
the
feign
Feign
Death there.
Death if we want to.
Yeah. I guess we could have Yuan T blocked here too, if we were, since we knew they were going to do something. I think we should keep it. I think it's such a key blocker. And they're down to 1 card. I keep saying that like that's important, but this is just how draft games go.
Yeah.
It's like, opponent is now top decking, except
they
that...
look at the top 3 cards of their draw pile again.
Where are the low rolls?
They have a draw engine and we're not even doing equals. This is...
Yeah.
Rough.
We are very out of our depth here, I think. We're getting obliterated. Hey, but at least we got to bring this back to our hand. That's nice. Where is it?
Swam.
Oh, it went back to the battlefield.
Comes back out.
Yeah, and it comes back with the little toe cane. Is it finally time to Clattering Skeleton? Actually, I think so.
It leaves open one black, so they have to still consider whether or not we have a combat trick.
Exactly.
No attacks though, unless we
could,
because they'll just chump block with 2 goblins to kill anything.
But then our bullet grows.
Our bullet grows, but we lose another death touch.
So what I keep trying to think about in the back of my mind is like, how do we ever win here? And it might involve forcing them to make mistakes. Like if we just wait, do we ever catch up? Do we have any card in our deck?
That's the fear ray from thingy. From our beholder might be a reasonable out for us.
Okay, then we just keep hoping, and we keep hoping that they continue to not attack with their board, which they could. I can't believe they can just do this every turn, man.
I mean,
I can.
It's very expensive, but the thing is, we haven't been able to do anything about their minions at all.
Yep. They don't have anything else to do anyway. Oh, we still have a treasure, don't we?
We do.
We do. We do. We totally do. So maybe we hold the swamp here. This is one of those times to where it's like, you just represent value in hand, because it's not doing anything for us. Do we attack with Clattering Skeletons because we want them to die?
Is Fandelver, like, next we get a treasure token or a 1/1 red goblin?
And it pushes us forward. I don't mind having a token. It's a chump blocker.
It's a chump blocker, but the Earth Cult Elemental just kills it and doesn't care about any of the rest of it. And until this gets down to the very bottom where it draws us a card, it feels like it's progression towards something that is fine in Fandelver.
Right, yeah. No, I definitely agree.
I think we have to declare no attacks. We could just put out the Ulti Guard.
I think I'm struggling with the sense that it's like the correct play for us is to continue to make no plays, but also it's very unlikely to result in a win. It's kind of like, you know how, and this is not meant to be a complaint. This is just a sense of realism about this particular match right now. You know how in MOBAs, sometimes it can feel like the game is decided in the first 10 minutes and then you spend 30 minutes watching it end?
Yep.
Like, that's kind of how I feel about this game here.
Yeah, it's... I'm gonna pump the Ulti Guard.
Yeah, I think so, right?
Just in case on a later turn we draw just the bombs. Good lord!
They have not rolled anything less than a 15. This is incredible. Maybe the D20 can only roll, you know, its minimum is your health. Like, it must be.
Iron Golem has to attack, at least.
Dungeon Crawler.
Get him, Dungeon
Now
Crawler.
what will you do?
Oh, I should have held that until after the main battle phase if we're going to attack at all, but I don't think we're going to attack. Well, it has to block, but wait. Attacks or blocks each combat if able.
So we could get a force block out of it, but then who would we attack into it? It's going to kill anything.
With the clattering skeletons, because if it has to be the person who declares the defense, we kill it and we get our venture and we get
our value. Okay, let's do it. I like that.
Next into
This
combat,
is finally the moment where,
Golem defense.
We must.
They trade.
Venture.
Ventures into the dungeon.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Do we want to actually? Is this
that much right now?
Because do we have enough for Beholder?
3, 4. Yeah, 5.
If they force another removal, we. Okay, we still do at that point because yeah. So, 1 red goblin token it is.
Delectable. I mean, we can sack that for another buff on Boulette next turn as well.
Yeah.
Our board's thick. They've got just the Earth Cult.
It is.
If we remove the Earth Cult with the Eyes of the Beholder, we might be in a position again.
We're not in a bad place all of a sudden, yeah. We can take on a lot of those gobos. It looks scarier than it is, right?
Uh-oh. They just interrogated us by exiling 3 cards of ours. Oh, Hexblade, a Cursed Idol as well, so they have a Cursed Idol now. And they can cast that until the end of their next turn.
Wait, do we have to choose one to give them?
No, they chose. So they've taken the Cursed Idol, they've chosen to play it here for treasure token and venturing to the dungeon. Makes a bunch of sense.
Yeah.
One target creature, makes sense too. Give it to one of us. Come on.
It's gonna be on the Arcane Investigator if they're smart. That's the best unit on their board.
Yeah. Saves it from a 1 damage ping.
Oh, 2/2 flyers. Fine, but we do have a reach unit.
We still do. Oh, 10.
We
That's
still
enough.
that. Wow, I can't believe it. Not a single time did they draw the bottom half. Wild. Just pinging us with all these rolls. That's it. They're literally just doing damage by rolling. There it is. Do we battle and then throw that bad boy down?
Well, I mean, it's if we want to do the Fear Ray for Menace, we have to do that first.
And then attack. Yo, wait. Can we do this and like literally go board in?
How?
Hold back like just the Underdark Basilisk to deal with the Elemental or something? How much damage do we do? Like, do we
2 things? I mean, if everything has to. Oh god.
I know it's so much math. I wasn't ready for this.
Should we just thump this, play Fear Ray, and start attacking?
We probably should, with at least a couple things. They don't have enough mana to stop it. And now we attack with at least Dungeon Crawler. And probably 1 T? Maybe even the basilisk? Maybe not. Maybe we don't go too crazy, you know, like 4 things. Because we don't want them to be in a position where they can just like tap 2 of our units and then win. That's the fear. But if we don't take advantage of this menace, we're going to regret it, probably.
So we would choose the attack order as well. So if we play Bullet, they're going to defend with the Earth Cult and something else, which means we kill whatever the other thing is, which would just be a 1-1 at that point. Yeah, I think we just send these.
Okay, I like that. Like, just get the Death Touch involved. Force their hand to lose some units.
Once he loses against those 2.
They'll
probably do
Which is kind of a
similar
loss
things
of value with the Death Touch, but we still got Underdark.
Yeah. I mean, Wanty was never going to be able to deal combat damage to the player.
Not in this fight, right? Yeah, you can't think about the optimal use. We have to think about maybe getting value. That's really all it boils down to.
They declared a single defender against this, but they're going to have to defend... Oh, they defend with the 2 heaviest ones against that. Okay.
Right, so it can't kill anything. Smart.
Oh, no, just saying defend there. Yeah, pretty optimal defenses on their side, frankly.
Yep.
I mean, that doesn't matter. That also doesn't matter because we can't deal enough damage to any of them. That also doesn't matter because we can't deal enough damage to any of them. That doesn't matter because we will kill both of them. So we kill up all of their goblin tokens. We clear up our
And we
board
still have solid blockers. Yep. We still have our 2 reach units for the enemy fairy dragons, which there are a lot of. That is... Arcane Investigator is not a joke. We looked at this card during draft, and I think if blue were open...
Come on!
Yeah.
Each player sacrifices a permanent. Woohoo!
Oh, man. Dang.
We can't
This
play
was the time to have a
Baleful
token.
Or Eyes of the Beholder if we sack another land here.
Yeah, we can't sack a land, right? It needs to be. Like, maybe it's the Ranger.
Bomb that has reach, that has... it might be the Ranger, yeah.
Literally just because it has no body. Sucks, though. Definitely. Because now we have less blockers.
And every turn, they're just going to roll, like, 2 times, 3 times.
Roll some dice.
We're so dead. We've been so dead for so long. I just want to...
Simply attack me. Do it.
So if we blocked their 4 most powerful creatures on the board, Earth Cults, Displacer, Feywild, and Arcane, they're tapped out. They were about to attack with an Elemental. I think they might have a combat trick
2,
of some kind.
5. Wow. Are they playing with us? No attacks.
I think next turn they're just going to send the attack in. I don't think we can do anything either, unfortunately.
Yeah, and maybe they were waiting to not be tapped out so that they could, like, do it safely.
They do have 4 treasures. Oh, yeah, another 19. Oh, it's so expensive, but they can do it every turn because they've just got us board locked by a big minion in the Earth Cult Elemental. It's so rude.
And then just get exactly what they want. Yeah. This is a consummate good draft card. Like, your turns just become weak, and so sure, spend 6 mana to draw 1 card, right? Like, and it's the reason why I actually typically like blue a lot in draft, is because those effects become really good. Like, blue's problem in constructed is that the enemy might be too fast for you, but that's not the case in draft.
Do we want to use... No, I think
this should be Basilisk. Yeah.
Case. And then you've got First Strike, but Baleful there.
Is Bullet blocking somebody?
Bullet can't block anyone else. The only remaining is a flyer.
So maybe they want to block the captain over the Baleful? Well, I guess not, right? It's
because if anything's going to die, I want the Bullet to survive.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
I mean,
okay, do your tricks.
Is the thing.
So. Do your whatever. Do your lightning bolt. Come on.
There's the critical
hit. Oh, wow. Wowie. 5 life ain't gonna last long. But hey, we can clatter a skeleton. Now,
no,
good game. Yeah.
GG. This is an unfortunate one. Oh man. So much draw. This
Maybe we should actually set the timestamp to our second game.
maybe it's gonna be a good time to introduce people. We only have to lose a
Welcome
couple
back from
times
the
until we're
beginning of
out.
the video. Here's our deck. It's green and black stuff. We make some. We hope that we draw some stuff to make some stuff. We hope the enemy doesn't take any actions. Assuming they don't take any actions, we're very likely to win, baby.
Hell yeah.
GG.
I mean, like, we'll just block their maximum damage, but yeah, it's GG.
It simply is dead. It was coming for a long time. I mean, you know, we were on a long and dusty road, and in the distance, we saw
Our demise.
a colossal interdimensional worm, and we just kept walking towards it.
Oh, what big teeth you have. What do you need those?
It is very uncomfortable in here. Can you furnish me with a dehumidifier, please? I would just a single dehumidifier. I'm not asking much. I'm gonna be here for a while.
Stomach.
You know.
Oh, hey, how long have you been here?
Digesting in place.
We've got one loss. 3 losses will take us out of the entire draft. It's gonna be hilarious if we have a 1.5 hour draft and then 1.5 hours of just straight losses. And it's like, and that was Magic the Gathering, baby.
Okay, but in fairness, and we'll talk about this more at the end because I am really excited to kind of do the intro as an outro. This episode is special to me, and I'm really excited for it. But set knowledge is critical in Magic for draft. Set knowledge is so critical, you know. So, wow, right? It's like
it is. Thieves' Tools will give us a treasure token when it enters the battlefield, which is a flexible green.
Yeah, but gosh, maybe this is a mulligan. We need some creatures, dude. And we get a free.
We get an Underdark Basilisk, which we could summon theoretically with this eventually, but oh boy, it's like, mulliganing and sending one card to the bottom of the deck. I'm always scared because if my redraw is worse, which it's easier to be worse than this already for us, but if our redraw is worse, then suddenly we have to lose more resources to get anything worthwhile.
You want to take it and just have Underdark to protect our board?
I think so.
I just wish we had some draw. And I knew this. And you don't always get it in draft, but man, when you don't have it, there's a sense of despair. Like, I'm at the whims of this deck now. I like this little Durgan that they have. That's very cute. Nice. Look at that little thing. Is that theirs, or is that just part of the map?
I think that's just part of the
map.
map.
Can you click on it? Does it? What do you do?
Oh, it snaps in the mouse.
Oh.
Pixie Guy is a 1/3 flying, grant an advantage. If you would roll 1 or more dice, instead roll that many +1 and roll the lowest.
5e rolls. Good lord. Now, if this were the previous contender, this doesn't matter because they're just going to roll 15+ every time. But in theory, this is quite advantageous.
No kidding.
Let's just get the Basilisk out, right? Or do you want to do Cursed Idol and set up to...
So we can get the Basilisk out, but I don't think it does anything. They're just going to attack immediately over it here.
Let's Cursed Idol. I like that. And then like this time, maybe we pick the Tomb of Annihilation? Or do you want to do Scry?
Loses 2 life unless they sacrifice. Well, I mean, we can just lose life, and then go straight down.
Yeah, because we need to win early anyway. I don't think this deck wins late. Especially we're seeing blue, right? So we sack some damage, get a 4/4 Death God. And then after that, we'll go Scry.
Well, Trickster, again, they've got a lot of roll dice. Like, it seems like in this set, people might have just exclusively drafted to roll dice.
Which seems to be working. Maybe we should put the treasure in. Oh, we didn't think about fixing our deck. Maybe there was some stuff
about that too much.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Have a look at that in between. We could get a Cursed Idol as well as an Underdark Basilisk out, or a Cursed Idol and a Thieves' Tool if we just want to pop the treasure this turn for like advantage on board.
It seems reasonable to do so if we think we're the beatdown, and I mean we probably must be. It's weird because Basilisk is not a great beatdown card. You know, it's not exactly. So we're going left, I guess. Just take the 2, right?
Then we can play out the Underdark or Thieves' Tool.
I think we should play the Underdark. I think having that blocker available for the Trickster is nice, so that they can't just become the aggressor here.
I would probably happily make that trade at this point. So now we're kind of
Yeah.
just top decking for something. Just some.
Something. And if we're lucky, we'll find Feign Death, and then it's even
God.
easier.
Dragon
I can't
Fire.
read all that. Nobody knows
Yeah.
what that says.
As an
it
additional
was bad
cost to
for
cast a
us.
spell, you need to reveal a dragon card from your hand or choose a dragon that you control. They do not control any dragons, so they reveal a dragon from hand. I didn't see it at the time. It went immediately by. Deals 3 damage. If you revealed it, it deals damage equal to the power of that card to the creature instead.
It's a really cool looking card too. It's like alternate art or what? Dungeon Crawler Thieves Tools, literally swamps in hand. Pray for forgiveness. Do we need to equip it? Are we going to put it on the Dungeon Crawler?
I mean, we'd have to equip it by... I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's tapped out. We'll just... next time
Yeah, yeah.
do it at all.
Yeah, but I'm
Otherwise, we'd
thinking
have to
like,
spend treasure.
is that what we're gonna do?
I mean, probably not, to be entirely honest, but having this just ready is nice.
Are all of our opponents gonna be blue-red? Is blue-red the play, and like, because they're against bots, it just worked out?
Yeah, yeah. So one thing I was told in advance of doing a bot draft is that because in the bot draft, the bots aren't going to be aggressively drafting towards meta options, as a result, when you fight other people who came out of a bot draft, they had the ability to draft aggressively towards meta options. So it's entirely possible we're fighting people who just know the set.
Yeah, yeah, and they're just like, you just go blue-red, and it's the best, most consistent thing you can do.
Mm-hmm. We can bring back
That's
the
great.
Underdark Basilisk and Treasure and Venture.
I like that.
We should, yeah.
I mean, yeah, we need to get some people on the board. We could sacrifice the Dungeon Crawler. Do we? No.
I think we're going to need it to be able to chump block because we're about to...
We wanna, yeah.
We could,
I just worry, like...
a treasure, though. That might have been...
Yeah. Maybe, you know what? I think that was the play. I think the 2 life could very easily matter here. We shan't... Well, we could trade with Hobgoblin. That's not bad. Although, we probably want to hold back to block, no?
Yeah, I think we hold back to block.
Goodness. Goodness. Deja vu.
Yeah, no kidding.
Deja vu. Deja vu.
What'd you say? Sorry, it just reminded me of something I've heard recently.
Weird.
So Hobgoblin, if they attack with everything, it's going to have the first strike until the end of turn. A 1 and a 5, baby. They only draw 2 cards. Woo!
Oh, but they're... They sure do have more little pixie dragons.
They sure do, don't they?
Hey, that thing has reach.
It do.
Our hand sure is empty.
It definitely is.
Sure is. Should we put Thieves' Tools on somebody?
It'll still cost us one of our treasures to do so, but like we can make them can't be blocked as long as its power is 0 or less. We can make any of these unblockable, but we can't attack with any of them right now or we lose.
Right.
So maybe they were vigilant, but they are not. So what we're
Maybe
looking
next
right now
turn,
for
like
is the final.
Ranger?
We can just get the A triple if we get a single copy of anything here.
yeah.
Oh no, my ranger.
What is that? How do all
Wild
these
Magic
cards have
Surge.
alternate art?
Whenever Chaos Channeler attacks, roll a d20. 1 to 9, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. 10 to 19, exile the top 2 cards, and then 3 for the next as well. Interesting. They put this so. What? It loses all of its abilities, but it still has. I can still kill your Pixie Guide with the L2 guard here. It's a rough trade, but it does get rid of their advantage, which they are going to be using constantly.
Yeah, and they spent a whole card keeping it from having reach. What they're really doing is keeping it from killing the dragon, because they're hoping to win with the dragon. That's the gambit.
Ooh.
And we could have destroyed that enchantment with another idol, but we've already seen so many idols, right? So I don't think that's legit.
There's our clattering
Do we-
skeletons.
Do we end up attacking with clattering skeletons and thieves? No, they're too strong. We could put thieves tools on the wolf and do damage because now we have enough blockers to live and we can't block the dragon anyway. Is that a thing?
Yeah, but we're also in main second because I skipped through combat.
Okay, then we just end.
I think like because of the state of our health, the only way we win is not by sneaking in little hits, it's by managing to get back on the board.
Well, we can also always equip it at the end of their turn, right? Equipping is not sorcery. No, equipping is sorcery speed, isn't it?
Equipping sorcery speed.
Okay.
Everywhere.
No, that's what it is. That's the card. It's the card, man. It's the meta. It makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. A repeatable draw effect with Scry, and it's rolling a card, which is activating this other stuff. It makes sense. And just the ping gives you a way to kind of like push red, but also draw lets you go longer. No, it's really, really strong. What's red blue? What's the name for red blue?
Is it?
Oh, is it? Yeah. Is it?
Is it? It might. That might just be
Is
the clan that uses it.
Maybe it isn't. No, is it?
Rakdos?
Is it?
No, Rakdos is black. Yeah, red black. I don't think we can do anything.
Nope.
So they've. Oh no.
This is bad.
Yeah, this is bad.
We accept.
This is bad.
What we really wanted was the ability to draw just one more towards the Cradle of the Death Gods. We were getting our way there.
And then hopefully beat down with the 4/4.
Oh, they were probably just going to chump block against Chattering. They just summon stuff constantly. Okay, never mind.
I don't want to slowly take 1 damage every turn. I don't want to only draw swamps.
Neither.
I want to draw a Beholder.
So
I'd like to...
On board, we die next turn.
So we have to attack and hope they do something dumb? Maybe they think we have a trick.
Maybe we did. Maybe we just drew our bring it back when it die.
Yeah. Yeah. You should block with like the Arcane Investigator and
the Chaos
also
Channeler.
the Chaos Channeler. Yeah, that's your best block. I can't imagine any better block for you. Simply do it. You must. You will accept Republican credits.
They gave us that. So
Hey! You get a Death God.
God.
Now what are you gonna do, God?
You did it. We got the
Here we
token
are.
legendary out. Now it's
Token
time to
legendary.
die.
That sounds like so. Oh yeah, you gotta get the token legendary in the deck, you know, of course. Yeah.
You got your D&D campaign, you gotta include the bard, a ranger, an archer, a rogue, and of course the token legendary.
Yeah.
The black staff's gotta be in the deck. Gotta get them. We had the black staff actually in the previous one as well. Or rather the black staff of Waterdeep, not necessarily. Because that's a role rather than a person.
Really?
They just should have attacked with everything there. That's-
I have no clue why they didn't. They're hoping for us to find removal for their dragons.
yeah, like we just die to their dragons next turn.
Truthfully, I don't think that opponents are playing particularly incredibly, but what they are doing is drafting a better deck.
Yeah.
Like they read the guide from Louis Scott Vargas or whatever, and they picked the colors that are strong in the bot draft, and they will win with it.
Get him. Get him.
This will win. It's got death touch for the person. You can't just not block a death touch. Like, don't you know how this game works? That was death for them.
Hopefully
Yeah.
they think we've got 2 combat trees in there. And of course you gotta roll that and get that D20 first before you do anything else. They're gonna get that critical hit back from the graveyard as well.
Doesn't that just pretty much kill? Oh, they blocked with their ping ping minion, which is weird. Why did they do that? Because it doesn't matter.
Oh my god. Kill us this turn or I can see.
Stop.
Thank you.
Stop. Simply win. Simply good game.
Good game.
Okay, what do we have to swap and or draw in order to not just perish?
Let's have a look. Otherwise, at the end of the video, we're going to be saying, hey, go back and look at the draft if you want to see what not to do.
You gotta pick up one game, right? Surely one other Magic player is drafting blind like us.
Oh,
Surely
you know
we're not
what-
the only person.
You know what draws?
What? treasure chest. Put it in. It's the only hope,
Baby!
Luke.
We're gonna do
Get
the 10 to 19. We'll get it.
Okay, what are we replacing? Dude, is it thieves' tools? No, because it's.
No, it's still an out. For
Do we
us.
just need to high roll? Should we take like a land out?
He might does need to high roll.
Actually, I think the only hope that our deck has is to draw really well, and in that case, we don't need so many lands.
People aren't attacking in situations that would actually leave them vulnerable to a combat trick like bull strength or anything like that. because
Wait,
they
plummet.
don't attack until they win. Plummet.
Yeah.
Well, the only things that we've seen that are flying so far are all tokens.
Yeah, which is kind of dumb, but still, they're winning the game with them.
Mm-hmm.
Removing a pixie dragon might have literally been good, or wild shape is another way because we can become a spoder.
Maybe we
Rangers
take the eyes of the
longbow.
holder out because it never occurs.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it would remove one of the opponent's 6/6s, but so does Death Touch.
Mm-hmm. Just gets us back to our 40. All right, we ready for our 0 wins, 3 losses?
Yes! Do
Hell
the trick
yeah.
again. Yes! I like it when you click the cards. Do it. Stand on the ball. Roll around.
Why?
Okay.
So, for anyone over the last 4 years who's asked me, "Ooh, do you want to start a series on Magic the Gathering Arena?" Here you go.
What's that? What's that in the distance?
I can hear feet running in the other direction.
Oh. Weird. I thought that they asked for this. Where are they going? Hey, the entrance is this way.
We finally got
No,
our opening.
no, that's a colossal interdimensional worm. Yeah, that's not your audience. You don't want that. We should take this.
Oh, okay.
We should take it. We should
Got
take
the
it
cursed
and high
idol
roll.
into the balut.
Balut. Baby boulette. I like this dragon.
Oh no! Prince's Talisman invoked duplicity, rather. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice the Trickster's Talisman. If you do, create a token that is a copy of that
Whoa.
creature.
We looked at this, and at the time we said, cool.
Do we want to
Cursed
put a mini
idol.
board, or do we just go for the idol and ramp to bullet?
I think we ramped to bullet. That's like our best bomb in the whole deck.
We also have another idol in hand.
So is it Dungeon of the Mad Mage? Is third pick a charm? Do we need Scry in order to win?
I don't think we ever get to the bottom of this. So what, we get 1 scry? Do we get 2 ever? Maybe
I
it's
have no clue.
I think it actually might be Pandelva.
I think we need. Yeah.
It's some scry initially as well.
There's something about reading the dungeons that made me think treasure chest. Keep that. That's critical.
We need
Absolutely.
mana.
Absolutely do not put that on the bottom of the deck.
Absolutely
We have
have to.
lost. We can never win now. We have perished, and this is how it goes.
Yeah, we can't ramp to bullet if we
I
don't
think
have
that
any
when I
mana
was-
in that hand.
I think that when I was reading the dungeons, something in my brain said these are very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And what I didn't recognize is that even the fastest dungeon requires you to dungeon delve 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And that will take you at least 4 draws. It's just like very inconsistent in drafts, right? And then at the end of the chain, you get what, like a draw? You get like
Mm-hmm.
a 4/4.
Yeah,
It's
what
got
we
Death
need is-
Touch, but it's a 4/4.
What we need is more things that say, like, venture matters.
Yeah.
Like, if we had a minion that said, 0/1, I gain +1/+1 each time you venture, something like that would be
Yeah,
enough to
it's
be
pretty
happy
good.
again.
Oh, and we have a couple creatures that are good, right? Like if you've completed a dungeon, you get to do X or Y. There's that one legendary creature we have, which is pretty swank. So like we have options. I suspect that venturing becomes more powerful and constructed when you can like build a venture engine and just dungeon dive. Whereas in draft, they can just play Arcane Trickster and draw a card every turn. Hey, you can't gelatinous cube my freaking baby Buletta. Give that back.
Yeah, how dare you? You're gonna have to give it back to us once the gelatinous cube leaves the battlefield. They have Dissolve X Black. Put target creature with mana value X exiled from the Gelatinous Cube into its own graveyard. So they could put that into our graveyard with... so the X is... Oh, it's at 4-5. So next turn, they could do it.
Yeah.
We take their
But
whole
we have
turn
Fate's
and
Reversal,
summon
so we
this
can
one.
always get it back. And we could try to like attack with Underdark Basilisk and force them to decide if they're scared.
I think we should probably put out Swamp and then both Underdark and the Intrepid.
I like that.
Develop.
Simply develop. We're not going to win by representing cute tricks. We're going to win by our opponent failing to play their cards. I suspect.
They've still got blue.
If the opponent-
They're not red, at least.
If the opponent chooses to not draw or play cards, we will be in a very strong position indeed. Don't you eat that card. Don't you do it. If you eat that card, I swear it.
How dare you chump it?
And what's if they eat it? They still have a gelatinous cube.
You do indeed.
How dare you chomp it?
Attack us. Do it.
Do it.
Oh,
You don't
that's
know what
flying
death
this
touch means.
turn now.
Oh, a flying
And then
gelatinous
they put the
cube.
duplicity, the trickster token on it.
Okay.
It's going to deal combat damage to a player. We can't. Whoa, we can.
Wow.
So-
we have we must block it. right?
Yeah, you create a token that is a copy of the creature.
Hey, did we add Plummet to this deck?
We didn't.
No.
Unfortunate.
That's okay. Did we add the thing that gives us flying? Did we add any of the flying counters? I don't think we did.
That's an enchantment. That's not just a pump this
Oh,
turn. Whenever
we can
deals
kill it.
combat damage to a player, venture into the dungeon. We could theoretically kill it, but not right now, unfortunately.
With the idol, I mean, we have enchantment removal, but this is good because there's our
4/1 reach. That's exactly
so there's
what
our
we
answer.
need.
Yeah. We have exactly the block we need. So do we attack with Underdark Basilisk now then?
I think we should probably attack with both of them.
Yeah,
They're
I
not
agree.
going to have much haste out.
Yeah.
Get some damage in while we can.
Pray that they don't know how to do 1 damage. Or to reduce our attack or some such. They're targeting it. They're looking at it. They're thinking about it. I like how it shows you what your opponent is looking at. Like, yes, this does have reach. I see. That's exactly what I don't want.
Guild Thief, whenever Guild Thief deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it, and it can't be blocked if it pays full. They don't have
Interesting.
The ability to pay for it this turn. It doesn't have
Seems weak, but in draft, weak things are actually strong. That's actually how draft works. Anything that you look at and think this is a bad card, it's a great card, specifically in draft. That's how it works.
Clattering Skeletons, baby. Clatter with us.
Cacophonous Oscillomorphs are back and just in time to give us board presence. We need to just be the beatdown. We need to like quit thinking about Gelatinous Cube and just hold back, one thing, Elderguard Ranger or whatever, and otherwise pretty much attack. Maybe we have to hold back 2 blockers, but we've got Clattering Skeletons and...
So I think what happens there is they use the Gelatinous Cube to block against the Wolf. They use the Guild Thief to block against the Goblin. Bullet doesn't grow at all because it's in exile at the moment. The Gelatinous Cube kills the Wolf without taking any damage back. The Guild Thief trades... Well, they actually wouldn't even use the Guild Thief. They'd keep it out of combat.
Yeah, because they want to attack. Yeah.
So we'd lose our 2/2, and we would manage to get...
So you're right.
Trade that. Yeah.
No, we're once again in a position where the correct move is to not make one. No, you're right.
Unfortunate. I don't like being in this position, but I think we are.
It's just scary because the longer it goes with an opponent that has blue, the more likely they are to just find the answers, right? And so sometimes I find myself in a position where it's like theoretically optimal play is to do nothing, but also does theoretically optimal play result in us losing most of the time? Maybe we have to depend on the opponent making a mistake. It's just what a silly mistake to make, right? Like that's an easy block to solve.
Yeah.
So you can't depend on your opponent to misblock there.
Definitely agreed in full.
It's just tough, man. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's just tough.
Yeah.
We've been out here grinding.
I believe sincerely we are probably on our way for 0-3 here.
Oh yeah, no, I firmly agree. Something lucky could happen. So we're about to get some dungeon diving. What? I'm just saying we've been out here grinding, not playing a second of Magic for a decade and diving into this set with no set knowledge. Drafting against bots, forging a new meta.
There you go. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Woo!
Hey, we can bring. Ooh, it's Barrowin of Clan Undur.
And in fact, we have Fate's Reversal to bring the bullet back now as well.
Yeah. I think we should play this Barrowin, right?
I think we do play the Barrowin, definitely. We auto pay for it. It's gonna venture into the dungeon for us. Give us a +1/+1 because life swings not matter.
Do we
to us
put
at
it
all.
on our reach to keep them alive? Well, I mean, like, or to keep them from dying to an effect? Or do we put it on
right.
clattering skeletons so that they're more deadly? Do we, like, where do we put this?
We can't put it on you, can we? Oh no, we can put it on Barrowin on door. We do want Barrowin to be able to attack, but if we pump him, he can't get hit by the Thieves' Tools. I think the Elder Guard is a good idea, because in case this gets another +1/+1 especially.
Yeah, or like finds a way to ping for 1 damage or something, you know?
And next turn, we're only likely to have this amount of mana, so we want to bring the bullet back if we're going to do it at all right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And draw a card.
Hell yeah, baby. Ooh, we actually completed a dungeon. It's really real.
Hell yeah. Do we want to attack
The eye
skeleton
represents-
as well?
Yeah, let's do it. If they block that, it's a mistake. Things die, although without bullet out, you know. That's 4 damage. I mean, that's really real, Dave. I don't know why they're not, like, well, I know why they're not attacking with this gelatinous cube, but maybe they're just land swamped. I mean, maybe they're literally just flooded with lands. We might win
can only hope.
on the... So we certainly... Oh, they're unblockable, huh?
Blockable. 2/2.
Okay, but that means they can't block now. So maybe we actually do need to consider, like, attack strats.
So if they
Put
block our
bullet on the
strongest
board.
minion, 5, we still push through 3, 4, 2, 1, 1. 3, 4, 2, 1, 1 is 11 damage.
And then they will be die and we'll be able to attack again next turn. They can't kill us.
If they block something the gelatinous cube can survive whilst blocking, this is assuming no combat tricks. We have to assume that at this point, unfortunately. If they block something that they can survive against, they don't
Then
manage
next turn
to
they-
survive. Like, that minion will survive, but they will die.
Right.
And bullet triggers at end step, so we don't have to put it out yet. We don't even have to show them the forest.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go the hell in. They didn't save enough mana for me to be particularly scared either. Although it is black. I mean, they could, like, feign death or something.
No way.
GG. Hey! We're a winner! Yo, actually, I don't think that the opponent particularly misplayed. To be honest, I think that I don't think that they were able to deal with the reach unit. I think that their whole plan was to win with ooze. And
it definitely was.
They just they couldn't get more stuff on board, and they couldn't find a way to clear it. I think that more than anything, they misdrew.
Well, if they were conceding there by choosing to block Barrowin, then fine. But they could have lived another turn by blocking a different minion. They would have lost that minion clearly, and then that probably would have been the game.
You're saying, they clearly did misplay on that last turn because they could have survived. But I think that was more of a concede. Like, if I block with this ooze and it dies, I simply lose anyway. I have no out.
Oh boy.
That's summonable on
I think
turn
it's
1,
fine.
summonable on turn 2. That's keep.
Yeah. Are we on play or draw?
Play.
We're on play. I would have preferred to be on draw, I think, to be honest.
Especially with the fact
Baleful.
that next turn we're going to be top decking.
A plane. Cleric.
When you gain life, when you would gain life, you gain that much +1 instead, and then it levels up if they cast 4 into it. When you gain life, put a 1/1 counter onto a target you control. So we'll let them level it up, and then we'll destroy it with Cursed Idol.
Yeah, that's the play, right? Although I worry that we'll need Cursed Idol to summon our Baleful. Yeah, make the damage on their face. Hired Hexblade, I guess? Or do you want to do Intrepid for more beatdown? Yeah,
Probably
save
Intrepid.
Hexblade to try to get the draw.
Yeah, exactly. The possibility is we get the draw from this theoretically at some point. There's also cheap flying white minions.
As we have seen.
And blues as well. Creature, human monk. As dragons disciple enter the battlefield, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. If you do, they reveal a white dragon, has cold breath. Tap target, creature's control. Okay, cool. If you do, it comes in with a 1/1 counter on it, and dragons you control have a ward +1.
Okay.
There's our idol, but we'll wait until they trigger that before we put it out.
Right, I think so. I think we should bait it out. This means that we don't meaningfully ramp up mana this turn at all, but I think that's okay. Just play Hexblade after attacking. I don't think we attack at all.
Attack at all, no.
Yeah.
Declare no attacks. Put the Hexblade out on board. Your turn.
This means we don't get a draw off of it, which is kind of a bummer, but it's okay. Which might have been worth. Excuse me, I would like to speak to a manager.
Mm-hmm. It's an elf wizard. It's not an artifact, and it's not an enchantment.
It is kind of enchanting, at least.
Mm-hmm. We are
not an
blocked
enchantment.
entirely on mana right now. Haven't drawn a single
So
one.
these
the
must be
entire
like,
time.
by the way, these like little dragons and books and stuff. That must be like a avatar that they have, because there's a space on our side too,
Oh yeah, it's
like a skin
You're right.
kind of thing.
Half elf monk has vigilance, so when it attacks, it does not tap. Ooh, swampy baby.
Hey, this allows us to cast more spells.
Mm-hmm.
Do we actually have to? Do we like? What the heck is our play here? Do we have to Cursed Idol to be able to play chattering, clattering, and splattering skeletons?
So, kind of, but I think the only way
Yeah.
that we manage to do that with reasonable tempo to try and gain back what we already did is waiting for them to trigger the cleric class and then destroying it.
But then we don't have the treasure. My point is, like, we don't have enough mana to play.
right.
See what I'm saying?
I do.
I'm wondering if we have to play Cursed Idol to ramp.
It will give us a scry if we do Fandelver.
Yeah, which might be correct to try to find lands.
Oh boy.
I know. I want to remove this enchantment, but I'm worried that like we're thinking about a future which we haven't paved a way to yet.
I think we also do need to Fandelver specifically out of these.
Yeah, and that lets us get another treasure token too, so we can then continue to ramp. Like, in other words, when we okay, more
Do we
Cursed
wanna
Idol
leave that
works.
there, or do we want to
I think so.
bottom it?
I think so because it gives us the option to remove Cleric if they pump it next turn. Gives us the option to just make another treasure and then we'll be on 5. Maybe we're not doing Chattering Skeleton yet. Chattering, Clattering. And we're just holding them?
Ooh, returning to hand. Half of them rounded up.
You know, it's not terrible. We can resummon them.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard for us to resummon, as they're well aware, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it gives us something to do while we wait. It makes me feel like I'm taking action, is I guess my point.
Mm-hmm. I just wish they would do that.
I know. Simply quit representing that you're a cleric and become one.
I think we do just need a 4/3 out on board. It prevents the damage from dragon and half monk.
Okay. I like it. And it also represents more progress into the dungeon. I will venture into this dungeon, fool.
Get all up in that dungeon.
We're going straight to the
That's a
dungeon.
Second spell of a turn. That's not going to happen. That's just a 1/1. Well, spells count creatures in this game.
That's a spell. What is that thing that's in their hand that we get to see?
So they've got the white dragon, but we
The
don't
white
know if
dragon,
they've
yeah.
got a combat trick for this.
Do you want to just block it? I mean, it's okay if it dies. Bring it back.
Yeah, they've got a combat
And then we get
trick
to
with
venture into
other
the
card in
dungeon
hand.
again. Yeah, but that will force them to spend it.
Second spell in turn, get that plus, baby. I mean, hey, we still defend here, and they had to trash that bit.
That makes me wonder if we were supposed to double block the Dragon's Disciple. Like, that was a Shocking Grasp is something we've seen,
You're right.
right? I mean, I didn't think about it at the time. I think our play was reasonable, but I think we were supposed to double block.
Another chattering?
Mystical, magical. Yes. Yeah, their board really can't handle this creature right now. Their board can't even handle me right now.
They tapped target creature. They tapped one of our clattering skeletons in response. Yes, that's fine.
That's fine.
I think we can attack with the dungeon crawler because if they block with either of those, we love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they don't, we kind of love that too.
Mm-hmm. Invest in your cleric class. I have the Cursed Idol. Oh god.
They've invested in becoming a dragon.
We do not have a plumut.
Oh goodness. We have been really beat upon.
Doesn't untap in the next step, so we will get this next turn at the very least.
But next turn, we can play Baleful Beholder if we play Cursed Idol this turn. Can we set ourselves up to do victory damage?
Nah. Too many
I feel like Watcher. Is there lethal?
It's worth checking every single turn as Watcher.
There is not lethal Teak. You are lethal Teak. Do we actually need a goblin? I think we need jump. Right?
Okay.
Like I don't want
play
that.
The Baleful, so. And then in terms
Was
of
the
jump as
consideration playing another treasure so that we could get the draw from the Hexblade? That's legit. Maybe we get the draw here anyway and try to draw into mana to play Baleful. Play Hexblade using the treasure here to get the draw.
Come on. There's a Swampy, that'll do it. Intrepid just put out on the board as well.
Yeah, yeah. Are we attacking with Dungeon Crawler again?
So they'll
This time they have the monk.
5
Yeah,
possible
no.
attackers next turn. We'll have 5 possible defenders.
We could do clattering?
Maybe Chattering should attack, yeah. They're not going to block it. We just do 4 damage.
Which helps us become the beatdown, which is our end game.
Mm-hmm.
Is to play Baleful Beholder next turn and then attack with our whole board.
Yep. Let us do
2,
it.
4, 8, 10, 11, 13, 15. We do have, technically we have lethal, but I mean, they have a lot of good blocks.
They leveled up their cleric class.
They finally did it after all this time.
And they're going to gain
No,
2 life
don't
with
you,
this as well.
don't you gain life.
How
Oh
dare
my.
you.
No, you can't make a 5/5. No, actually, I forbid it. I think we might have to let them attack.
I think so.
How do we have enough for lethal next turn? I think we had exactly 15.
So they would have to use... They would only be able to block a total of 2 of our minions. They would block both of our most aggressive minions on the board. So we would have a 2, 2, 1, and 2 go through. We'd have 7
But then we
damage
have
go
to
through
hold
their
back
face.
the Intrepid for their White Dragon next turn or something?
Yep. So
Dude.
significantly less than that, actually. We might end up just attacking with the 2 Chattering Skeletons and the Baleful Beholder next turn, and then keeping this to be able to deal with the white.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You get no blocks. Dude, I think the health may have just saved them, actually.
All right.
Okay. It's time. We could remove an enchantment.
They only have 1 enchantment. They would have to sacrifice their cleric class. It's whether or not they have the ability to gain more life that is like, is it going to be threatening? I think we can't win if we do that.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
I agree. I agree. And then we attack with Chattering and anything else?
We're so far from being able to complete another dungeon, so it's going to be really hard to get the dungeon crawler back on board, I think.
It's true.
No. I think we just send those 2.
Yeah, just send it. Opponent does not block, and therefore will take 8. No? They're gonna do it? Maybe they're figuring out what menacing means.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mayhaps they are.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Man, are you tempted to just kill the Arcane Investigator over the Dragon's Disciple?
I am, yeah.
Like legit. That might be correct.
Dragons you control have Ward 1, so if we cast anything on the dragon, it would cost us 1 more mana to do, but the most expensive
But
thing
what do we have to cast?
Yeah, exactly nothing, right?
We have no target. We don't have Plummet. We don't have the Eye of the Beholder.
And here, just the higher damage minion, probably. This is easier for our clattering skeletons to lock down.
Yeah.
Later turn
Although
when they
the
come
tap
back.
target is pretty gnar. That was a good block. It was a good block. Kind of forced our hand to make some difficult
We should
decisions.
have also blocked with the dungeon crawler because it's coming back to hand this turn. Oops.
Crap, you're right. Or attacked, rather.
Do we want to deal the damage and gain a life, maybe?
Actually. Ooh, does a 1/1 counter let our reach thing kill the dragon? It doesn't, right?
No.
It's
Still
a
pretty far
2/3.
from that. It might still just be worthwhile. It puts the Baleful Boulder out of range of the dragon, so its block doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Whew, I like to see some cards. If they've got a trick right now, they just win. But if they don't, we've got Blancs.
Oh,
And
they just tapped the
badonkadonks.
Intrepid. Never mind, they win. I should have
GG.
targeted them the opposite. Damn it, that's mine. That's on me. Oh, boy.
GG. Hey,
GG.
we didn't get skunked.
We did.
We came in with no set knowledge and a bot draft where other people could just look at the list, the tier list, and follow it. And we did not get skunked. We produced a deck that had a plan. It actually worked in that last game. That was probably the most to plan that we've seen. Making the clattering skeletons and then killing them off and part of a big menacing beholder attack and then getting dungeon progress. And I like the dungeons are... I think that I was thinking of dungeons as an end game, but I think I should have thought of dungeons as a side quest. Like the dungeons were really good as just a consequent side action, a little bit of extra gravy on top, but without the right support, definitely not the whole plan. Yeah.
I was hoping we were going to be
GG.
ramping from 2 to 4 more consistently, so it could be a side quest while we still got a valuable minion out on a relatively early turn. We didn't
Not enough
manage
draw.
to get that to happen that many times, and not much access to draw even in what we saw for these colors. Outside of the
Scry
blue
is
for the late
pseudo
game.
draw,
Scry is
right?
pseudo
Like
draw.
at least ordering. Yeah.
But
G
we did
freaking
get
G.
at least one win. Let's claim this
We
prize,
did.
baby. Ooh,
Let's get that
100.
prize. Let's get that bread.
Let me
Actually,
open that Forgotten Realms pack. We're gonna pop something out of there. It's gonna be incredible.
This is going to be a mythic rare. Everything was worth it.
The third pack is the one we just got, so doesn't matter until then.
Boom. Mythic rare. Book of Exalted Deeds. Triple white.
Hell yeah. Then
It does exactly what you want it to do. Be exalted. Boom.
Sphere of Annihilation. I saw one of those in D&D recently as well. Oh, it's a D&D set.
Really?
That makes sense.
Is it a judgment? Is it an area removal? That's what we needed.
All right, here we go.
Boom. Book of Violence. It's two
mythic?
books, 2 mythic rares. 2 books.
Hell yeah. Okay, and we
I'm
got
not
a dog in
mad.
that last back as well. So frankly, that is the mascot for this
Gee.
one, so to speak.
Gee. Hey, can I give an intro outro briefly? Be my guest. You may. So obviously we made the claim that we have never played this game before. And what is perhaps true about that is we have never played this summer's Magic the Gathering draft in this particular set. Magic the Gathering is like the alpha and omega of modern card games. And to suggest that we had never heard of it or played it is obviously a farce. I don't need to tell you that. But what I didn't say is that Magic was not my first card game, actually. Played the Pokemon trading card game first and taught my mom how to play that one. And then there was some Yu-Gi-Oh cards at some point, but Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of, I don't really get it. And then Magic. And one of my best friends when I was a kid had Magic cards first. And his dad told him that the cards were demonic and was going to tear them up. And so he gave them to me. And that's how I got my first. Also his Yu-Gi-Oh cards. His dad was very hell-bent on, no pun intended, destroying all of his cards. So I ended up with these Magic cards. I played some and I played on and off. And then, like more in high school and in college, I got more into it. And I actually was really into standard constructed play for a while. And so I really, really love this game. And this week when Rhaps and I were talking about Take a Peek, but I haven't played it really in years. I don't even have the MTGA client installed on my computer. And I think the last time I played a physical draft was 5 years ago in San Francisco. But Rhaps and I were talking this week, and we were like, there have been a deluge of video games coming out for the last full year, pretty much a year straight. New great release, new great release, new great release, and we've been covering a lot of them, more than I'm used to, for sure. I'm used to having like a couple games a month that I just go deep in, and that's it, right? Mm-hmm. And we both kind of got together and we were like, we'd like to take it a little slower this week. I don't really want to dive into something truly new. How can we make the old new again? Which got us thinking. Take a Peek has frequently been about the future of video games, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Take a Peek classics, right? What about looking into our past with games or into the history of the genre? We kind of did that with Dream Quest, looking into the progression into modern deck builder roguelite. And we looked at it with Dungeon Defenders too, not Dungeon Defenders. That's a very different game. Desktop Dungeons. Dungeon Defenders is a tower defense game. It's fun. Desktop Dungeons, looking into not only the history and progression of roguelites, but into Rhapsody's history, since this was a game that Rhaps played a lot. And so we both felt that Magic would be a really cool look, because almost every game that we play today and enjoy has Magic to thank in some capacity for its existence, has Magic to pay homage to. Particularly Magic and Dominion are the really big games that are in that line of progression into so many games that we play and enjoy today. So, kind of putting some novelty in, because neither of us had any set knowledge. So coming into the set totally blind to just see what's there and try to think about it. Funky set. It didn't look like what I'm used to. Certainly, I was looking for draft bombs and seeing a lot of like 2/2 creatures. It was super funky set, but really, really fun to play. And so, just thank you, Rhapsody, for embracing this idea. I think this is a really cool take a peek in terms of looking at something from a bit of a different angle than we have been.
Definitely agree. It's similar history to myself in terms of this game as well. I think 2014 is the last time I deeply played a lot of Magic. I'd played EDH with a couple other people's decks in the meantime and stuff like that. Jumped back into Arena for basically one draft, and then I was like, okay, cool. Back to, I think at the time I was still playing Hearthstone as well, so like I just jumped back out into the other direction. So it's been nice as well to be able to actually go through a draft in the game in its current state, seeing the inclusion of things that mimic the mechanics of D&D through the mechanics of Magic was really, really interesting as well.
Yeah. I would like to see more of the dice rolling, particularly like that's the kind of thing that I love in MTGA, because my experience with too much of those kinds of mechanics on tabletop Magic is that you just spend forever managing stuff. But in a digital client, that's really streamlined. So that's perfect.
Speaking of streamlining, like as you were talking about, obviously a lot of the games that we've played and enjoyed have a lot to thank Magic for, frankly. Obviously you can think about things like the power toughness stat line of a creature. You can think about things of the general construction of a card. But I think one of the things that's most important is to think about how other games have responded to and deviated from
and improved upon
mana systems
or deviated
like Magic. Specifically, the land-based mana system is something that Hearthstone was responding to when it was like, you get one more mana every turn. There you go. That's
period. Auto ramp.
You're all on curve. No one's mana flooded. No one's mana screwed. And then obviously Eternal has its own way of dealing with it as well. You've got a lot of other games now that have obviously more in the TCG genre. Because in roguelikes tends to be less of a thing, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it become more of a thing again in roguelikes. And I've certainly seen deckbuilder roguelikes that have almost directly taken their mana system from Magic or adapted it immediately afterwards.
I like the adaptation though, because I think that the response is, and I played enough with the land system, maybe Stockholm Syndrome. It doesn't really bother me, but I think that the biggest problem with it, and the reason that a lot of designers have kind of cast it out, is that even if it's probabilistically reasonable, in a constrained draw system, where your draw and your mana are intertwined, situations where you don't draw enough mana, even though you should, feel really bad. And situations where you don't draw your cards because you're drawing mana feel bad too. And so there's some fairly large number of games on both ends of the continuum to where you feel like you're not allowed to play your deck because you're getting choked by the money for your deck. And what's weird is it doesn't really feel like that when you play, say, Dominion. If you draw a handful of gold, it actually just feels fine. You just got a handful of gold, you overbuy, and there's something about drawing 5 new cards every turn that makes those kinds of probabilistic systems feel more reasonable. I think the 1 card a turn plus mana as land is just, it's pretty punishing, right?
The fact that you can like very consistently be locked out of being able to do anything. And then players talking about getting into top deck mode and stuff like that. These are the kinds of things that we've seen other games trying to respond to since the point. That I think have been done in varyingly interesting ways. I think Hearthstone's mana system is totally fine, frankly.
Yeah,
I think,
it's legit.
Hearthstone's latest set, I didn't play it, but I have seen it, has tradable cards, which if you draw them, you have the ability to throw them back into the deck to draw another card. And that is also a response to that same kind of late position where you draw an early game card and you're like, what are you doing for me at all?
Yeah,
and thinking from a
I'm not ready for you.
level, when you are expected to interact with the game in a certain way, and then the game says you are not allowed to interact at all right now. That is one of like the giant sins for player psychology, is to be in a position where you're like, I don't have anything I can do. And it feels like a lot of the variations from Magic have been ways to address that. Also, it's worth noting, Magic has done things to address that itself in its own periodic release sets and core sets and stuff.
And we just played a draft game too. Yeah, I want it for sure to not make it sound like we're just poo-pooing on Magic after enjoying playing it for several hours, because I love the game. And I think that Magic's strengths are on the depth and endurance of the system. This game has been around since 1993. They're still printing cards and they still work together. You know, like that's kind of wild. Nobody expected that, not even Richard Garfield. But I think the real strength of Magic is in how well it plays as a mental game and a game of joust between the actual human players, right? The core systems certainly have felt the strain of time and of design improvements, but the core game of Magic is still really fascinating and really fun. And you know, from one lens, you can say a bunch of turns to where both players don't battle kind of looks like inaction, but it's just mental joust. You know, both players are waiting to get the edge up to have one combat trick or whatever. And so, I think that's a lot of the fun in it. Or you can make the kind of decks that I made when I played Constructed in 2010 through 2012. It's where you either won by turn 4 or you lost. Which I really enjoyed too. It's like, you know, it's like I put all my cards on the table, baby, and if you can manage to stop me, then this is your chips to take. Take the pot.
There have been a lot of like those for me as well, because I at the time especially was playing a lot of burnout decks in Is It, and it's just like, I am going to cast sorceries and instants at your face. And if you heal at all, congrats, I don't have any more damage. You did it. Well done.
And you're basically just like, no one plays heal, right? You're just playing against that meta. Yeah.
But I totally agree. I don't mean any of that to sound like it's denigrating specifically towards Magic, more as an indication of the kinds of things, the kinds of systems that other games have decided to vary, and the reasons they've decided to vary from them, and the results of those. But for the moment, my name's Rhapsody. His name has been Sneaky Teak. This has been Rhaps and Teak Take a Peek at Magic the Gathering Arena. You'll be able to find a link in the description down below to be able to pick the game up for yourself. It is free to play, although there are obviously in-app purchases that you have the ability to make.
This is a game built on payments, so for sure, like, you can play it for free, but it's not necessarily easy or intended to do so at scale.
Yes, there's a reason a lot of people have talked about it as being like cardboard crack, that they've spent a lot of money. A lot of almost everyone will have a group of friends where there is one person in that group of friends who's like, I spent $1,500 on Magic cards,
and it's just for this year, baby. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and there's going to be another person who's like, I'm not actually going to tell you how much I spent because it's more than them, and I saw your response.
I'm holding my cards this time. Yeah.
For the moment.
Oh, man.
Hopefully y'all have been enjoying yourselves. And hopefully we'll see y'all. Oh, in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks'
Yes,
time?
that's right. That's right, actually. Yes, I will be gone next week. I'm sorry. That's true. So week off from the show, and then back to resume immediately afterwards. Taking a week to go spend time with family and be totally off the grid. Wish me luck. There be dragons.
Sounds like a damned good time. Hopefully y'all have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see y'all in a fortnight's time.